those are you guys. But I think I have fixed chat. Hello, Internet. I was just saying, I think I have fixed chat. I have made it so that live stream comments are not held for review. But, at least in videos, because in live chat, links are already not allowed. But for videos, I am no longer allowing people to post links in the comments unless they are a moderator or me, which should cut down on a lot of our spam bots.
That's fair, because I wasn't going to post a link in the chat, usually it's just to be in the Discord anyway.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying. Live chat already held that, but if we have a lot of spam bots that try and sell you on free.porn or whatever, and now you can't do that anymore.
Hot sexy singles in your area.
Stuff like that.
Not even.
That is showing my age, but...
But hi, chat. How yous doing? I gotta warn you. Obviously, we're doing the shit all episode. It's finally here. I have to warn you to brace yourselves. I'm gonna show you something cursed.
Oh Jesus.
Oh God.
I will also.
How could you
oh,
attribute this
I
to
knew
me?
it.
Makes me
I knew
concerned.
it.
I
thought. See, no, Omega. You know what you should have done? You
What?
should have put a Lars Ulrich face on it.
I
That
could have, but
would've
that
been
probably
really
would have been a
funny.
much more complex edit than I had time for.
I'll be right back.
Apparently,
I'll be right back. I need to grab some pie drops.
But yeah, no, go for it.
because it sounded like I said yeah.
No,
you,
Napster.
that's
You
the
said
Napster logo.
Napster, and
Oh,
I was
God
like,
damn it.
so Cyber Dragon Napster, and then I was like,
No.
hold on, wait a minute.
I know you're too young, Loth, but
All right, and then let me.
What?
I think he's older than you.
Wait,
I don't know
no,
about
I'm
that.
not older than Dallas.
no,
Dallas is older than a bunch of us.
wait, that's what I just said, Loth. I just said you're too young.
No,
Use your
I'm
ears.
replying to Axe.
Oh, Axe is-
Use your ears.
I think
He
the only
did.
person on-
His ears edited out acts for the conversation.
I think
Like,
I have
I'm
Axe
supposed to
a
edit
little
out
low.
Dallas.
I think I have Axe a little low then. Because I genuinely didn't hear him, and not in a mean way.
I upped my fucking volume on my mic.
Ow! Okay, now you just peeked in my fucking ear.
Well, I didn't talk any louder.
Hey Omega, I didn't say the F word this time first.
That's okay. We've been going for like a minute. We're fine.
Ow!
Yeah.
2 minutes. Yeah, we're
Fuck.
good.
I don't know if that's karma. I don't know.
I'm gonna stab you in your sleep, Karma Boy.
Well, good luck
Why don't you
spending
just
all
sound
your
like a
money getting
redneck
to
there?
me.
Hold on.
I'm gonna stab you in your sleep, Karma boy.
I'm gonna get you, boy.
Well, good luck spending all your money finding me and getting to me.
Bold of you to assume I don't have your cell phone correct.
So we're here to talk about shitalls.
Oh,
what
yeah.
just happened has nothing to do with any of that.
I know
No.
it's just being a fuck.
But it has been a little bit since we did a failed portrayal. So, but we're back.
Yes.
We're on track.
I hope you like theology class.
Yes.
Sure.
So we can immediately jump into just the name Shadal, because
Well, so Shadal doesn't mean anything on its own.
yes. Let me see if I can find the best etymology. Yeah. So
Yeah.
The-
Shadal is just shadow and doll.
yes. And in Japanese, it's still pronounced Shadoru, which is Shadal or shadow. It's, wordplay. But the kanji used literally can be translated as roughly, like the actual definition kanji can be translated as shadow possessed.
Yes.
So there's multiple layers, but the name Shadal, and especially the name of the extra deck monsters, El
Yes.
Shadal, is
Yes,
very
El-
similar. Yeah, good.
Yeah, El Shadal is very obviously, especially with a very prominent boss monster's design, an allusion to the term El Shaddai, which is one of the names for God in the Tanakh. Is it the Tanakh or is it the Kabbalah? I can't. Oh God!
It's one of
See,
the.
this is what happens when we have 3 books.
Yeah. You gotta wait for the movie version to compress that down to 1.
See, we had that, but then we got Christianity, and that kind of sucked. No, I'm not gonna.
I mean, you're not like incorrect, but you're not.
But
fully
also,
correct.
those guys had 2 books.
That's true.
Yeah.
They had to do the thing where they made the extra book and they had to split it.
Okay,
And then
so
it got
is
adapted poorly like
it is
800
the
times.
oh God, how the fuck do I pronounce this?
Type-
Ugarctic?
Ugaritic?
Yeah, Ugaritic, or Canic, or Canitic way of saying
Yes.
God in Hebrew. So yes, the Shadal archetype has a lot to do with the soul. Is basically where this is going.
Yeah.
Can we pull up the poster boy or girl?
Well, we can
thing?
pull up. Normally we go in chronological order, so I would say to
Oh,
start
it would
with
be
core.
core then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we do it in, like, I guess there's
Well, no.
an actual chronological
As
order.
weird as it is, it has to be the boss monster first because she is everything.
Yeah. So, but we can put core on here so you can get the idea where we start. We've talked
do
about
core in the
Cairn
corner?
Gorgon a couple times. Core's in the bottom. It's the core, the glowing core. Also, it's Cairn Gorgon's face. Anyway, but we've talked about Cairn Gorgon, the anti-luminescent knight, a couple of times, about how he's just an evil swarm gem knight, basically, but not called that, because technically he was after that bit. Anyway, the lore origin for Shadal is, Cairn Gorgon is wandering around and apparently has the power to suck up souls now.
Yep.
Became a golem.
No.
Nothing I said will matter.
But I
Well,
mean,
you're just
no,
incorrect.
Actually, the golem is very, very obvious in this archetype. And it is
I
not
know. I
Cairn
more meant
Gorgon.
as a. He is just an empty vessel taking souls in.
Well,
That's
he's
not
still
what
got a
golem
soul.
is.
Was corrupted.
But yeah, Cairn Gorgon just slurps up living souls, and then he leaves your body an empty shell, which then can lead to the possessification part. Now, Kerkion, Eels from Kerkion, who we'll be seeing later, because we'll be doing some side-by-sides, tries to rectify this situation, and it doesn't go well. So, there's a lot of things going on with Shadal. You're going to see hints, spoilers, whatever, for future archetypes, especially as we get later in this line. There are some... They actually do a decent job of backporting some interesting like overlap in the Shadal, especially when we get to the elemental Shadal ones, they all have different prefixes, so it's hard to classify them otherwise. But that's a very late addition to give you in-archetype monsters of different attributes. So those guys will end up cleverly using a lot of monsters and support that was backported. But core is basically what is the core of the matter. It's Cairn Gorgon's weird Pyroxene core heart of soul sucking.
Yep.
And there's some evil juju in it, and it slurps out your life. You can already see by the time this art happens that Winda has already been Shadal'd, but we'll get back to that.
Yes.
Though not too far, because we can probably start with the extra deck for the first wave of support, because
Well, I think we just have to start with
the two big
the
ones
big
were
one.
there right away.
Well, and it's like the archetype doesn't make sense without one of the big ones,
Yeah.
because it is kind of the main thread. I
Yeah.
didn't do that on purpose, but that's funny. That holds this together.
But so the Shadals form an overarching antagonist for a lot of the Master Guide 5 stuff. According to the guide, they are around first, like their activation actually wakes up the Cleese, but that's okay, they outlive those guys. To when the Infernoids get activated, but at least one of them lasts past that part too.
Yeah.
So they have some serious longevity until I think we just turn off all the things and we, go back to zero. At which point several of our formerly Shadal'd people come back.
No, and the Shadals, I don't think it's direct. Like, it is directly implied later, but the way Shadal takes you over is it corrupts your soul.
Yes.
Very quite.
The lore describes that Cairn Gorgon's special power is to basically suck out your living soul and then leave you as a lifeless husk, which then gets taken over by
And they
weird
stored
shadow
in-
threads.
and they stored in anime goo jars. No, I'm not kidding.
Oh,
No.
right.
We'll see those a couple of times because there's a couple monsters that show the
I always thought they were
jars.
more like, I guess just. I always thought they were more like experiment vessel tubes kind of thing.
I mean, they look like vacuum tubes to me, but
Yeah, but that's where it's because or else how would the people come back?
Yeah.
Because they have to
Fair.
put the soul somewhere.
Is it also a thing that like that's the thing like the Klee had on them?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, lore-wise, it's just like.
I
Oh,
remember like
these...
they put the Shadal in containment tubes.
I mean,
Oh.
I'm pretty sure, based on the ones that are in tubes, they must have already come pre-tubed.
Yeah, they actually do come pre-tube.
'Cause
Because.
even though she's way later because she's a Link monster, Shuttle Construct, which you'll see later. I'm gonna grab regular El Shuttle Construct in a second, but we'll talk about what Core
Could
also
you grab
actually
her
does.
alt arts, please?
I'll see what arts I can pull up. Yeah.
I do.
The face-on one.
Is there a thing for what's all of like the various like shadow dragons coming from the core?
No, I think that's just the evil energy.
Yeah, that's just it's the Shadal juice.
If it were a few of them, I would say it's the couple of Yangzings that the Shadals ate, but no, I think it's just
No, the Shadal's only
snake
got like
stuff.
2 Yangs.
Yeah, they only got, like,
I
2.
think it's just the Shadal
Yeah.
evilness.
I mean, if we're associating this with like this kind of classical mythology, serpents are a sign of evil.
And spoiler, the person who did Dual Terminal was really obsessed with the Kabbalah, because like 5 of the archetypes are all based on the Kabbalah. It's ridiculous, actually.
Right, let's see how easily we can pull up. Okay, so yes,
Shadal is just the most obvious one.
so you want? Are you thinking of this? I can pull both of them up. Are you thinking of the side-facing one or the
No, the
front-facing
front-facing one.
Okay. That is
I think that one better
typical
illustrates.
artwork. Well, it illustrates the scale for one.
Yeah.
Because that's
That's
another
what I
thing
was
that you
talking
don't usually get with you don't realize with Shadals. A lot of the Shadal monsters are fucking huge. So this is Construct.
Yes.
And
Oh,
you'll see some interesting things going on here. Now,
There's Winda.
yeah, that's all of Shadal Winda, El Shadal Winda, I should say, who, by the way, is Winda Shadald riding Pulau Shadald. So, big.
Also, we need to talk about Construct's name. And her design as well. Because first of all, I mean, I don't know how much this is taught in Christian theology. I don't. But this is very obviously an allusion to the original Golem, particularly around the head area. You have the blank eyes. You have the hooded. Oh god, what I can't remember what
I
that's
more
called.
took it as it's closed eyes.
To be honest, Christian theology does not talk about golems at all.
That's more of a Jewish
but
myth.
This does look like the original Golem myth.
It's also
Unless
trying
I
to.
missed it in some random book that some frick. I don't even care because
No,
Christians tend to
it's
be
a-
toss in a book or toss out a book at their fancy.
If Omega wants to pull this up, basically this is a lot what... Oh god, that's a weird... No, I'm not going to do that art. That's a dude in a costume. But, traditionally, the art of the Golem is...
Oh, right, I completely forgot. I was going to mention what Core did. Core is interesting because it is a continuous trap, but it's a trap monster. So, when you flip him face up, Core summons itself as an effect monster that is a spellcaster. It's level 9, even though it's a free summon. It's got 1450 defense and 1950 or 1450 attack, 1950 defense. So obviously hearkening to Evil Swarm shit as well. And if summoned this way, you can use it as any attribute for a Shadal fusion monster, because that's kind of their thing, is Shadal plus an attribute. And then its final effect is, if this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target a Shadal spell trap and recycle it. Because, again, that's Shadal's core, archetype, is all of the main deck monsters are flip monsters, but all of them also have an effect when sent to the graveyard by a card effect. This means when they are discarded by card effect, when they are sent from deck to graveyard by card effect, when they are fused away. Basically, anything that sends them to the graveyard other than attacking them and destroying them by battle.
No. And so I also want to talk a little bit about the Japanese name for this card, because
Yes.
you would think with it being designed like a golem and it obviously being an allusion to a marionette, that the thing in theology this would be termed after is golem.
No.
But it's not at all.
No, not at all.
Because it has a very different name in Japanese that's very important to understanding what Shadal are.
But also,
and I really don't like Konami of America for
I mean, but I can
Construct.
see exactly why they didn't, because it is a direct biblical reference, and while I'm not afraid to say that Bible thumpers are the religious equivalent of ambulance chasers, that's still true. And so I understand why
That's
Konami
fair.
doesn't want to fuck with them.
But yes, no, in Japanese it is El Shadal Nephilim. Also known as the giant race of hybrid sons of fallen angels.
Yeah.
Which basically are what the Shadal are.
Yeah, so you can see a lot of things going on in this art with Construct. You know, you see the threads, all that other stuff going up. Now,
Or
according
if you
to
play Diablo 3, the Diablo 3 main character.
yeah, according to Wiki, Construct is supposed to be based on Lapis. This is a little more relevant when we get to regular, not El Shadal Construct. So I assume that's why they went with. Right, I need to turn on. Freaking
I was going to
transparent.
ask if like it was trying to emulate like a hood and like a wearing a cloak and dress kind of thing.
I mean, yeah.
But yes,
I don't know if it's officially based on Lapis, because...
the design sim when you see Shadal Construct up close, the resemblance is a lot closer.
Yeah.
It's as it is now, I think it's a little bit of a reach based on the original intention of the art, but clearly I think Konami backported it a little with later artworks.
Yeah. Because...
So, just to ask, as I can notice, it's like are all basically all of like the all main deck cards basically. You have Construct that is just a giant mechanical golem walking across the land, and then all the shells are just puppeteered from its back.
I
so
believe that is the implication.
I think Construct is has a soul and personality.
Yeah, I think,
think
so.
I'm pretty sure Construct ends up having the core inside of it after
Yeah,
I
Kirigami
think it's like
bites
the
it.
main server of all the shit.
Like, Shadal Construct, from what I remember in the lore, is like the will of the Shadal. It's like the Shadal speak through her. But yeah, no, she does control everything.
The other thing to
And-
important note, especially with the name Shadal Nephilim in the original, is keep in mind this monster, all the main deck, other than one of the Zephyrs, because the Zephyr hybrids are weird, but all of them are spellcasters, no matter what their appearance is. You have a hedgehog and a bird and a dragon. They're all spellcasters, because they're not them anymore.
I also want to point out a really funny thing.
Go
If
for
you
it.
do a very, very literal translation in Hebrew for El Shaddai Nephilim, and you use El Shaddai, it is God, Son of God, which is
Pretty
funny.
Funny, yeah. Oh, also, actually, so I'm
God,
reading the
God,
lore.
or
By the
man.
way, so, hey, fun fact. Axe, you were wrong about who does the tubining.
Oh, okay.
It is the Infernoids, because what is supposed to happen with the Shadal is it's supposed to be the cycle of reincarnation. Those people who are dying by getting their souls sucked out are supposed to have their energy returned to the sacred tree and be reborn through Sophia. However, because shit is fucked, they are being trapped by Tierra and placed in vacuum tubes. And eventually they basically cause an error in the great cycle of death and rebirth. So the tree spits them back out as just their bodies, not their souls.
Yeah.
So when
just-
guess what? When there's no more room in hell, the Shadal will walk the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, so I think Construct is.
I guess
the
I just
core one.
misremembered the Klee lore.
Well, the Clees are
Yeah.
also attached to the sacred tree. The problem is just
No,
knowing when what happens.
The Clees are technically not the bad guys.
No, they're just the divine automatons.
They're the...
Well, the important thing is if you read,
defense.
and we'll get to it, if you read Scouts, because Scouts one of the two only normal monsters. Scouts flavor text is basically like a program code for an EXE to execute.
Yeah.
And the way that Master Guide 5 describes this Shadol process talks about them being treated as bugs because they switch from being, like, creation energy to destruction energy or whatever because they're trapped so long. So, fittingly enough for something that is called dual terminal, the world is almost kind of like a computer or mechanical build. Which is something
almost
very
more
interesting. There's a lot of Japanese stories that like this kind of allegory for electronics as the world structure.
Is it more of like it's a world within a terminal, so it's just like a simulated world?
I don't know if they've ever come out and said that it was supposed to be simulated. There
fun
are
fact,
there are certainly, if you want to talk about certain lines of like Gnosticism and thought, like there's something to be said for that anyway. Like demiurge
to me,
shit.
it's more. I always took it as like it's the world inside the dual terminal, which is a game terminal.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I don't know if it's literally meant to be like, oh, you're playing this world on the world terminal, or that just happens to theologically line up with some bullshit. But yeah, so you guys probably out there, an audience lad, you probably know what's the problem with the construct. By the way, construct was the second fusion monster to ever be, was it forbidden?
Forbidden.
Yes.
Yeah. This was one of the only
It is
ones
really
that's ever
good
been
if you're
banned.
not prepared to handle it.
Yeah.
At the time when it came out, because the reason why I'm perfectly okay with running Construct back as our first one is because Shadol were pretty spicy right out the gate. They debuted right out the top in Duelist Alliance. And that gets you Core, Fusion. We may talk about Fusion's effect, but we don't need to show it. It's a regular-ass Fusion card. And I think we've shown El Shadol Fusion before. But anyway, that's, to spoil our first block of lineup, that's Beast, Dragon, Falco, Hedgehog, Squamata, Construct, and Winda is the first wave of support. Which is pretty baller.
Yeah, you can kind of think the Shadols were getting super poorly banned. Because it was banned it was banned at the same time.
When did Super Play get
I mean, if you banned it at the same time as Construct, I don't think that's the Shadols necessarily directly. But I guess the general concept, because Shadols are one of our first archetypes of generic fusion monsters, I could see Konami just realizing, like, oh yeah, this card you can't respond to that's let you use anybody on the field. We've just printed monsters that are generic?
Generic, yeah. And all it requires is a discard, which
Shadols love as well. Yeah, it's not the...
But it might have been other things, maybe like heroes or whatever. I don't know.
I mean, there've always been some fusions. Anyway, what? So, right, fuck, I'm fighting myself here. I've got too many tabs already. Gemini Lapis, get the fuck out of here. I need to, like, properly multi-tab. Construct. So, Constructo is a light fairy. Once again, remember, fairy is angel in Japanese. It's a level 8 fusion monster. It's got 2,800 attack, 2,500 defense. So, other than the core thing in Karen Gorgon, the Shadols don't actually have the funny 50 of Evil Swarm. Its requirements are 1 Shadol monster plus 1 light monster. So, you need lights. I believe Valor was available at this time. That was a very common target.
I mean, I'll say this: Shadol didn't get like Shadol wasn't a tournament-winning deck out the gates.
No,
it was
not yet.
It took a bit.
Yes,
yeah.
It took a meta shift, honestly, for it to get tournament winning.
Yeah, because there were other things that were like more
there were a couple of real problematic decks at the time.
Yeah, because this is right at the start of Pendulum format.
Yeah.
It wasn't even Pendulum decks that were really the big
Well, no,
problem.
that's what I'm saying. It was right at the start of the format, so...
Because as good as Shadol was at the top of the deck, Burning Abyss was a way bigger problem at the...
Well, and the thing is, the thing you need to remember here is, just because Duelist Alliance is like the first Pendulum format and the first new Master Rule, that usually doesn't actually change anything right away because, for some ungodly reason, they very rarely print enough of the new shit at easily available enough rarities that you actually, like, rotate into the new format right away. You need to wait a couple of sets until people can actually figure out what the fuck they're doing. And Xyz decks were good. The Xyz era was very powerful.
And then by the time Shadal kind of got all their stuff rolling, the meta got destroyed for like a month or two.
So El Shadal Construct must be fusion summoned. If this card is special summoned, you can send a Shadal card from your deck to graveyard, which is very good. It's a starter. It's a foolish. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles a special summon monster, destroy that monster. So, if your monster is specialed, Construct wins. The only way to prevent this is to be immune to destruction, or to negate Construct before the damage step. Because once Construct gets into the damage step, that's one of those weird zones of interaction that cards don't universally work with.
Yeah.
It says at the start, so I believe there are some cards you can use to block Construct, but not all of them, because the damage step is weird. Also, when it's sent to the graveyard, you can recycle a Shadal spell trap from your graveyard.
The damage step is one of the reasons Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a card game that, like... Oh, also, I do want to apologize for our last fail portrayal. I meant to look this up. I believe I said this on either fail portrayal or when we were doing our Yu-Gi-Oh! Stream. I had said Magic hadn't gone through any hadn't gone through many master rule revisions. That was a goddamn lie. It's gone through over 30. It's just 90% of them were in like the first 10 years.
Wow.
So they went through a lot of rapid iteration and then stabilized.
Yeah, I forgot damage on stack used to be a thing, and that is that's a trippy ass rule.
Wait, what?
So imagine if a monster could do damage, but also be bounced back to your hand and not take damage.
Okay.
And then played again at instant speed and do damage again.
Just
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
You can't do that. You can't do that anymore. It's fine.
It was weird
Because
seeing the
Eli,
two of
that's
these
the
side by
problem.
side.
Well, all you need to know is Magic had growing pains, and I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! Needed to do more of that.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is more
Of
about
just
slow roll changes, big blocky
aggressive
format
rule
changes.
changes.
But yeah, so I think we are ready to move on from Construct. Construct is a very fun card. It was hit after a while.
Yeah, it is one of 2 Shadal cards to be on the ban list.
And let us bring up.
I think the other one.
Yeah. Let's pull up our next one to make sure to type this correctly because, hey, guess what? Spoilers. We're doing the extra deck first, so it's Winda. There's a lot of Windas.
Yeah. Also, spoiler, this is the other card to be on the Forbidden Limited list. Not ever banned. Not ever banned.
I'm actually looking at this.
It was limited. It was limited.
Only one that was limited was El Shadal Fusion.
I thought Window got limited once. Hold on.
Apparently not, according to this, unless Wikipedia is lying.
I could have sworn it got limited.
Oh, that's the wrong fucking file size. Curse you, Legacy of the Duelist, for having tiny files. Anyway, Window. This is the source of our image. Well, not strictly this. I used a transparent cutout, which I think is similar to... Actually, it's a good question. I don't remember. Does Window have an animation in Master Duel?
I think she does.
Yeah, it's probably what it was based on that I used for the thumbnail. Because as iconic as Construct is, Winda is arguably, like, just as iconic. And still meta-relevant, possibly even past El Shadal Construct herself, because,
I would say Construct is still irrelevant. It's just the other... the
Dallas, what deck, given that Power of the Elements is about to debut in about a week, what deck runs Construct that's going to make top cuts?
Invoked, branded, Shadal, which is still a deck.
I guess it's still a deck. You're true, but I don't
And it
know
runs
how much
one
of that we'll see.
Construct, one Winda. No
well
other
then,
Shadal fusions.
well then, Winda will be doubly represented because, hey, Tearlaments exist. They're all dark except for like one water. And
yeah, but that's what you have branded cards for. You don't need to run any of the darks.
It sounds overcomplicated, Dallas. What if I just self-milled like 3 cards, and I put a Shadal in my graveyard, and then I also put a Tier Limit in my graveyard, and I
Well,
just make
no,
Winda?
okay, let me rephrase that. Oh my god. All the braided cards just say Dark Monster as their materials.
Oh, okay.
And Fallen of Albaz, usually. It's just,
Yes.
that's more what I meant.
I mean,
You'll never have to run
not
that
entirely
stupid
true. There's a
fucking
lot of
Despia
there's a lot of
where you're-
different ones, but
That's true.
yeah, you're thinking of technically what
Branded
was
is Despia.
no.
Oh, okay.
Albaz and Branded are technically their own thing. There are Aluber has crossover because he lets you search branded spell traps, but Despia is its own self-contained archetype.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Despia has never been relevant without Branded.
True facts. But still, that would be like, I think people did still call it like invoked Shadal, like Despia or invoked,
They should just call up Fusion Turbo and be done with it.
Yeah.
It's not really relevant to what we're discussing.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway,
I
you're going to
would-
see a lot of Winda because Tier Laments fuse in graveyard when sent there with mats in the graveyard.
I respect Winda. Boy, does she kill my deck sometimes, and I'm like, I gotta kill her.
Well, that's the thing.
I mean,
you got to kill her. 'Cause
I
you
think
can't remove her
Winda
otherwise.
is, in some ways, if you, this is going to sound like such an asshole comment, and I don't care. If you side deck correctly, Winda is a lot easier to deal with in Construct.
Also,
I mean,
Winda.
I'll say this strictly: you don't need to side deck against Construct. Just don't be a doofus and run your special summon monster into it. Just remove it. Construct has no protection.
I think most decks easily can get a pop out than actually having something instead of having an empty board.
I don't know.
big
There's a
enough,
reason
so-
Construct was banned and Winda wasn't.
Yeah.
because people are stupid.
No.
No,
it
'cause,
has to. It has to do with meta constructs. Axe is just
Yeah.
saying if you're going second, he can't make decks that can make a guy that gets over Winda.
But that's because Axe refuses to side deck certain cards that very
is-
easily out Winda.
But yes, Winda is one of those
Book of
things
Moon.
where
Book
before
Book of
pre-side,
Moon.
she is very hard to deal with, but post-side, no,
It's a pretty
it's not really.
If you don't mind me just saying, because I remember because we did do what I can't remember what archetype it was, but you get to see Winda afterwards, after the whole Shadol nonsense.
Zephyr.
Nope. We haven't done that
No,
yet.
it's not Zephyra.
Nope.
Uh,
You're thinking
we haven't
of
got that yet.
a different girl who has a similar name.
Unfortunately, you're thinking of Wendy,
God.
not Winda.
Fuck off. God damn it.
Blame the Gusto for their fucking naming conventions.
Yeah.
So blame
No, I'm sorry, but
what's his nuts? Calm.
so we took Winda from a different archetype.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, Winda.
Was she
Winda,
always
Priestess
so
of Gusto.
Yeah.
Was she
No.
always so? Okay, good.
'Cause I've
So
got
they
the art
just,
right
they took her head and just went, okay, let's attach some bits and bobs because
Yeah.
her knees.
Well,
This one-
remember,
Oh, no,
she's a soulless doll corpse right now.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
has
She's
them
dead.
all
It-
about.
Again, it's a puppet emulator body. It's not
Oh.
her body.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it
just
is her body,
looking-
but it doesn't have her soul in it, so it's not alive.
Just look at the. No, it looks almost like they were trying to mechanicalize it. Oh,
I mean, they are called
Omega-
shadolls.
Yeah,
They're dolls.
Omega,
Yeah.
then to
Yeah.
retake what you just said, if it's her body, then why did her
Gears.
joints turn into metal bits?
Because she's dead now.
Because that's
Yeah,
what
dead.
happens when they hollow your soul out and hollow
Yeah.
your body out.
You don't have your
Yeah.
soul anymore. It's a soulless body.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
this is
Zach.
a lot. This is a lot easier to draw than a rotting corpse. Also, because they're
Wind-
called shadolls,
Winda,
not shazombos.
Don't forget Wendigo.
Yeah,
Wendigo. Yes.
Yeah.
We have a lot
I-
of things here.
Okay, I don't get why it's like it feels like there's a step
Because
being
they
skipped here.
changed her body. Have you ever seen American? Did you see the trailer to the new American Horror Story? They did that.
I mean, to me, I don't understand why Axe insists on fighting the literal logic of the Master Guide. It
They
says
took
that
her
they
body-
don't get their souls back.
Yeah, they took her body and they hollowed it out and made it a puppet.
It's
So
like
I
Stupid
can
Given
read the
Nobody.
box text.
Okay, that's
Karen Gorgon wielded the horrifying power of absorbing souls from the living, leaving their bodies as empty shells. Hoping to end the situation before more victims created, Kirkion bravely fought on alone. However, he was unable to bring himself to use his full power against his former comrade and friend and was ultimately absorbed by Karen Gorgon. Kirkion's power of destruction strengthened Karen Gorgon tremendously, turning him into Shadal Kor. Shadal Kor then gave birth to those who lost their lives in the previous war, the Shadals. The true form of the Shadal are those who have lost their lives and were supposed to return to the sacred tree to be reborn again through Sophia's life energy. By the way, there's a lot of scare quotes I'm not reading in this. However, they were trapped by Tierra while inside the sacred tree and imprisoned inside the vacuum tubes of the Infernoids. Over time, their life energy began to change from those of Sophia to those of Tierra's, which caused the sacred tree's system to treat them as bugs, spawning them into the world with only their bodies. In this form, they barely have a consciousness, but instead hold a innate desire to return to the sacred tree so they can be reborn correctly. They are resurrected wrong.
Yeah.
That is why they
you
are
ever seen
different.
the
And if
movie
you're
Pet
like,
Sematary-
if your logic is then why are they dolls, it's because the archetype is called Shadal. That is the aesthetic we
yeah.
are going for.
Also, fun fact, Martha figured out why we were having such a disconnect. Winda was never limited in the TCG, it was limited in the OCG.
I think she's still limit 1, isn't she?
I
What?
I do appreciate that they also just went like, okay,
That
we'll
also
give
means
you your
she's probably
staff
winning Master
back. We're just gonna change the colors.
Yeah,
I
we're gonna make it evil.
I honestly can see the bit of that because they are reconverted into Tierra's energy. They came back as basic mechanical things. 'Cause
It
all
is
the
true,
Infernoids
'cause
are
they
basically
are-
machines.
They are destruction, not life. I mean, I will say it's not a one-to-one because you have to remember they are still all spellcasters. They did not go and are Infernoids machines?
No, Infernoids are not machines. As far as I
Inferno.
can
No,
tell,
but
Master
they're
Guide,
mechanical
Master Guide 5
beings.
does a lot of fucky things with
they're
the types.
fiend, right?
Clees are machines, but these are
I
not
think they're like
Clees.
fire fiends, but I
Well,
believe
'cause-
though they're at least
Well, because
they're at least
Omega, I think that's
mechanical
it.
beings.
Like, Shadals
Oh.
are the half point.
Oh,
Shadals
well,
are not.
Axe.
Shadals don't work for Tierra or Sophia. They're
No, they are. They were
they're
just.
a result
They were.
of the system breaking.
Yeah, they were
Yeah,
bugged
just-
by Tierra.
Okay.
And just happened.
Just triple checking Infernoids, they're all fire fiend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I wanna make a point that is gonna apply to exactly one person in the audience, but I don't care. Yeah, if you ever played the recent WoW expansion, it's basically that plot. The way that the Afterlight works just fucking broke, so the Shadals are the result of that.
Yeah.
So here, by the way, I finally got the full collage. So El Shadal Winda is Winda of Gusto, Winda Priestess of Gusto, and Pulau.
Yeah.
So I will point out that while the original Shadals and the three that it shows when it does that box text I talked about is Heghog, El Shadal
So-
Construct, and Falco.
Then I have a question. I guess in some of like the spell trap art, there's like stuff where people get hijacked by the Shadal, but I guess it's more they just get killed, and resurrected. I guess that's
Yes,
it.
they get there because remember that El Shadal core still came from Cairn Gorgon, so it still has the soul
Yeah.
suck power.
And also, when when two of the Shadals get redeemed, they don't get unshadaled.
No, Zephyrnaga and Zephyrcore are still kind of weird.
Yeah.
Zephyrcore and Zephyrnaga are very odd.
I guess to me that it's I guess there is a theme here of that anti-life is just mechanical.
Well, no,
I could see that.
basically no, because the Shadals aren't destruction. Shadals are the halfway point. They're life and unlife. They're reincarnation.
Well, that's why they have like flesh.
Well, yeah,
colors
they're
and
trying
hair
to.
colors.
I mean, that is true. The Shadals are kind of the impetus for a lot of our bullshit, but technically speaking, their only motivation is they want to return to the sacred tree so they can
Yes.
get revived properly this
No,
time.
The
But-
quote-unquote actual like bad guys are the Infernoids.
Because the Shadals are marked with Infernoid energy, the World Tree is like freaking the fuck out because it's like, what the
It's,
fuck?
yeah, so
It's why it's what I think that it's that the Shadals like beat all of the Naturia and the Winda gets back into the tree, but then it projects her and wakes up the Klee.
Yeah, basically, she touches the tree because she's trying to get back in the tree.
Can
Let
we
me.
talk about
yeah.
Winda's Japanese name because it's another doozy?
Oh yeah.
Also, isn't Winda like
Yes.
also because she's like the herald of the Gusto, she has like a divine power in her too.
Her name in Japanese is El Shadal Midrash,
Midrash.
which is the term for storytelling. Like
Gee, I
it's
wonder
the
why.
kind, it's the Jewish stories of the rabbinic sages. It's basically the way that the Torah and the Kabbalah are told.
Omega, thank you for saying that the Infernoids are the bad guys, because I was literally thinking that and had to quickly go make that. I posted it in the question
That's-
chat for you.
That's
gonna be Infernoid's
a
plural.
high quality shit post.
Honestly, it's technically Kirkion's fault. This is all technically.
Well, yes,
Kirkion's
because
fault.
Kirkion has the power of destruction inside him, and so he was like, I must stop my old friend. Oh no, I cannot stop my old friend. And then Karen Gorgon eats him and they become core, and then the shit
Yeah.
happens. Core vomits
yeah,
back out.
Kieran
See,
is
Shit
Francis
pretty much
is-
was too much about the power of friendship. I can't kill you.
So honestly, it was always just the evil swarm's fault, which means just always existed in that mirror.
I mean, I think we could have guessed that back in our day it was the Evil Swarm's fault because Core has the Evil Swarm style stats, as does Karen Gorgon. It's just that they are the thing that refuses to die. Anyway, I think we've flexed a little bit about the mechanics here. Let us explain why Winda is a pain in the butt. Because like I said, there's not really much to say about
She
this.
is a gate that is flooded.
Yeah, so El Shaddai Winda is a dark spellcaster. Funnily enough, she is actually still a spellcaster. I would also, by the way, like to point out, while there is another El Shaddai monster that is basically literally an evil ritual beast tamer, this is also very much like that, because Winda is a fusion monster, and it took them a couple sets to get to Wendigo. But she is a level 5 fusion. She has 2200 attack, 800 defense. Basically no defense. 1 Shaddai monster plus 1 dark monster. By the way, all of the original main deck Shaddais are dark, so Winda is the easiest to make in archetype. You don't have to play any outside cards. Must first be fusion summoned. Can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Each player can only special summon once per turn while this card is face up on the field. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can recur a Shaddai spell. So yes, Winda is a great end of your combo line as a floodgate. Because you can basically do whatever the fuck you like, then make Winda, and then you as turn player can still have one more fusion summon. I think another reason why Winda is spicy is because I think other than Super Poly, because that's only on field, Shaddais are also, I think, one of the first, like, in archetype, which means they can search and recur, quick play fusion spells. That's El Shaddai Fusion. That means that if you just have set El Shaddai Fusion and 2 fusions in hand, you can make a Winda on your opponent's turn after they've already specialed once and they didn't know you're going to make Winda.
Yep.
She is a very spicy floodgate. Now, as Dallas has said, she's really easy to get rid of if you know to keep account for her. If you already have built a board, if you're going first, Winda loses very easily to basically every big asshole in Yu-Gi-Oh! Ever.
Yeah, and any effect negation just kills Winda, because the thing
Yes.
is, she can't be destroyed, can't be targeted, which means
Yes.
she just
This also means
dies.
she is ludicrously weak to non-destruction removal. You can compulse her away. You can
Veiler
her.
Chalice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah.
Book of Moon to
it's
make her
just-
face down, which makes her ludicrously easy to run over.
Yeah, she can be targeted.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
still
no.
targetable.
Like
Um,
non-destruction removal is annoying, but back then and especially now in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, the really annoying cards are non-targetable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, also, they're usually non-targetable and non-destroyable. So it's like, okay, you can't just board nuke, but also you can't just get rid of. Also, I believe, though I don't know what its limited status was at the time, as we've discussed before with many times you've seen in our prog series with Stardust Dragon, Dimensional Prison does not destroy. It just
I don't
vanishes.
think D-Prison was limited at the time.
Yeah,
no.
so... and I do believe still in 2015, some decks were side decking D-Priz. Not usually main decking, but as a
Bottomless was
non-destruction
another
removal.
one,
Yeah.
but that still that
Also,
still
I mean,
really not.
obviously, if you have board set up, you can solemn her because you can just negate the summon.
Yeah, no. Winda is very deal withable. The reason Construct is so
Go for it.
problematic is because it basically outs any board.
Yes, if you... So, Winda is the really strong going first card. If you can go first, it's ludicrously easy to make Winda, and then your opponent has to, like, stall or deal with the fact that you are blocking them from making
Now,
a board. Construct
Winda
is, hey, you made a board? Cool, I summoned this monster. Guess what?
I'll say
Unless
this.
you're playing Monarchs, you didn't normal summon your board. I blow you up. Die.
When Winda was problematic is when Denko Seka came out, and people would do that. That was a little bit rude.
Denko Seka window.
Yeah, no, Denko Dolls was a deck, which is
Oh,
basically
wow.
Shadal's Denko Sega.
Yeah, because then your
so
opponent
just-
can't activate the trap.
Then it's basically
spells.
just Effect Veiler or you die.
Yeah.
But Denko Seka was a problematic card for a lot of decks, and Shadal still weren't that good because it was also the same time a lot of Pendulum decks were good.
Yeah.
So they just died.
Yes, Construct can keep beating up Pendulum monsters. This doesn't stop Pendulum monsters from keep coming back. And that's another thing. Guess what? Winda also doesn't stop Pendulum monsters.
You want to know a funny thing?
One special summon.
Just a funny thing in this context. You know what deck really kept Shell out of the meta for a while?
Which one?
Very ironically. Cleaforts. Do you know what isn't special summoned? Towers.
Yeah, I'm gonna say honestly that makes sense because one, that's what in lore Clees are supposed to be doing. They pop up as a response to Shaddolls, but also that Shaddolls are a pendulum deck that wants you to pendulum so you can tribute normal summon a monster. So yeah.
Yeah, I guess if you can just pen 3 and then just tribute summon, or you just use
Back to square one's a pretty good one, yeah.
Literally, Cleafort's turn 1 is make towers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're
I was able to pull
playing
it
a
off,
really
yeah.
spicy one, or I mean, you could play Clee Skill Drain, but Winda also loses to that because she is skill drained. So
Yeah.
your Clees are huge.
That doesn't matter when it has.
But skill drain
Skill
covereth
Drain,
a multitude of sins.
Cleaforts
I
and
was
Burning
able to
Abyss
pull
were
off
the two
towers,
decks
but
that very much kept Shadal from quite being a tier 1 deck.
Yeah. So let us talk about the main deck a little bit. First,
Spoiler: these
Beast.
ones have a lot less lore about them. This is, as the name implies, this is what happened to Naturia Beast.
Yep.
Rip Gozo.
Rip.
this is gonna be very funny to pull them up side by side. So,
Yeah, they look completely different.
hey, come on,
I wouldn't say completely
get a
different.
copy.
We took your Nigeria beast and turned him into like a zero.
So,
If you go up close,
how
I
it
can
started,
definitely see it.
how it's going.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a bit of a glow up, but I actually can see this one.
Yeah.
Some of the other ones are more confusing than this one.
Yeah, I love the design for this one.
No, should all beasts
I
bitching.
think it's designed better than Naturia Beast.
I can see the
Materia
line,
Beast is
but
a little derpy.
He
weirdest
slimmed
bit is-
down, actually.
I'm just seeing the bit of like. I honestly, without you being directly told, I would have not thought they were the same thing, because it's like one they both appear different, like actual. Because all the point
I
defense
don't
in
know.
one is very different in other places than the other.
I can tell just because of how the legs are and how the face is. Because you know what it looks like? This looks like the Naturia. What's his fucking name? The Synchro one.
Well,
No,
Beast
not
is
Gaius
super, you know
Treo,
what I mean,
the,
the big guy.
The Leo Keeper of the Forest.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Leo, Keeper of the Sacred Tree.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. So
I mean-
this one,
Good.
that makes sense to me that this is a Naturia card.
Yeah. And I would also say, like, I was at the very least able to easily tell this is supposed to be like a tiger or something. Like it's a cat,
Yeah.
clearly.
Yeah,
I
it's
just,
and
think,
then
it
you
was,
see
I just think it was
Beast.
exactly Beast.
Can you
I mean, it's
actually
called the
imagine
Churia
how-
Beast, so.
Well, also,
Imagine
what
how-
other? Go ahead.
Can you imagine how fucked that is that a Nichiria monster couldn't get back to the Sacred Tree? It's like, guys,
No,
let me
he could
in.
get back to the sacred tree normally. It's
He
just
just
then he
couldn't
gets
come
back
out
out.
Yeah, the Sacred 2 went, error, soul has
Yeah.
been rejected.
By the way, that means that canonically Beast does bite it in one of the previous waves of Dual Terminal.
Oh yeah, the Naturias lose fucking everyone except for Leo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's like in the final battle.
And then somebody else has to wear Leo as a hat.
Leo keeps evolving. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Leo literally is a fucking Digimon.
It's like I gotta become stronger.
So
like Leo.
Shadal Beast is a fun lad. This is a level 5 Dark Spellcaster flip. 2200 attack, 1700 defense. The fact that he is a tribute is not that complex, though. Absolutely, yes, I have tributed a Shadal to set Beast because, yeah.
I'll say this: Beast is probably the best. If you're rating a card's power based on number of different decks and times it is used,
Yes.
Beast is definitely the best Shadal card.
Yeah.
by far.
Guess what? Beast is the one you run in Tier Lament.
Fucking anything.
Well, you run it
Beast
in
is the one
fucking
you run in
everything.
anything.
Because he has two separate effects, like all main deck Shadals. He's got a flip effect and an if sent to the graveyard by the card effect.
That
Both
flip
of them
effect
say
will get-
draw.
Yeah, that flip effect will get activated like once every 1,000 games, but man, that.
But
pitch
still,
effect
it's
is
pretty good. His flip effect is draw 2, discard 1, which is phenomenal. We all know that's great. And then, if this card is sent to the graveyard card effect, draw a card. You can only use each effect once per turn. So,
Which includes shit like Armageddon.
yes. And he is dark. But also, like I said, Tear Laments is a self-mill deck, and then the Tear Laments proc in graveyard to fuse. That's their primary effect if sent to graveyard. So you use their mill effects to send them to graveyard. That means you proc Beast and a Tear Lament. You can make Winda and also draw cards to keep replacing. It's a spicy combo. And in Pure Shaddoll, there's a guy we're going to meet very soon. It's Falco. He's very good at special summoning guys out of the graveyard. So if you haven't made a fusion monster to recur already, Beast's a great guy to loop.
Yeah.
God damn it, Zed. This card loses to back to square one.
Yeah, I brought that up earlier.
I
No,
love that card.
No, yes.
I was talking about
said,
what Winda's
I
outs
do
are.
appreciate that joke. As Loth as well. Both made the same joke in different places.
Oh.
It's one of my favorite cards.
Oh,
Childhood memories.
the other comment from Zed.
No, I mean the Leo is it the irony of calling something named Leo a Digimon and saying it survives a long time. Is
Right, I know, like,
Yeah.
Leomon just dying. Yeah.
So this one will
Spoiler.
be pretty obvious.
Leomon Gashinda.
Well, they've purposely tried to change that actually in like the latest few series.
I doubt that.
Yeah, but
Ooh,
the
who's
latest
this
series
boy?
Alright,
This is Shaddoll Dragon,
Yeah, Dragon.
Wagon.
who is Suani of the Yanzing, Fire of
Yeah.
Yanzing. specifically.
This one I can't tell at all.
I can
I-
kind of
I
see it
would've-
because of like the quills and the
I-
beard.
For Swanee,
Swanee, was that more the lion-looking
that
one?
was the lion-faced looking one.
This one looks like a lion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Here,
guess
I'm
up-
literally gonna pull them up side by side.
Like
He's
this
got
one
the-
looks way more like Denglong to me.
He's got
I
gold
get- yeah.
whiskers. They kept the
it's a-
gold giant whiskers.
Yeah, it's a little more clear when they're blown up.
Yeah, I guess so.
And side by side.
My comment about saying I think you can tell was based on the fact that I was looking at his Shaddoll Dragon's full size art. Like obviously the main is now like cyber quills or whatever, but it's still I think in the
kept
right
the
ballpark.
mustache.
The main thing I think is a little interesting is that they changed his eye color, which is weird. Like he's got golden eyes now, whereas he had red eyes as a Yangzing.
Because that's eyes and more like glass beads.
Because I think the color scheme for Shaddoll is purple, gold, purple, white, really.
Motherfucker
True.
looks like Phantom Ganon from Wind Waker, or Puppet Ganon rather.
That you're definitely in the right ballpark. That's
I do
definitely an aesthetic.
appreciate his weird-looking ornithopter wings he's got.
Yeah, they do some interest. When you get into the detail, the artist behind Shaddoll was very, very creative, and I think a little talented doing all this stuff. Because like notice how the tail has a little bit of like a puff there because in regular form he has fire. Like it's not a 1-to-1, but the artist did pretty creatively try and work on these, and you can see a lot of little detail. There are joints in his little robo whiskers, so he could bend them like a fucking
Yeah.
Radio antenna.
Like, I do really appreciate, like, seeing the Shaddoll art blown up like this, because when it's, like, so tiny, I can't really appreciate it.
Also, spoilers. A lot of them were foils.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's only El Shaddoll Construct that had some artist comment on a later piece.
Yes, and Konami does actually these days, both in English and Japanese, post like concept art and artist comments. We don't really get that for a lot of like pre the Vrains era stuff.
They also still don't give their artists recognition, which I still hate them for.
Yeah, I feel like when you're doing the artist comment and the concept art, you could like include the signatures and shout out, but whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Or let them put their name on the card in the little box under it.
So Dwagon, because again visually I don't think there's much else for us to talk about.
Yeah.
He is
Not
indeed
really.
a Dwagon, but he's a spellcaster. Don't get confused. Beast is also a spellcaster. Don't get confused. So this one is level 4, 1900 attack, 0 defense. I think one of the rare Shaddolls you usually see normal summoned in face up position.
Yeah.
Like if you're normal summoning a Shaddol face up, it's probably this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flip, bounce a card to hand. Target a card your opponent controls, return to hand. If this card is sent, you can destroy a spell.
Well, at least for this wave. There's one you would definitely normal summon later. But...
Yeah, there. I mean, when they get later support, there's actual like normal summons in the deck. But usually Shaddoll. This is another reason why I think Shaddoll's really got slow played out. Was they are a hardcore flip deck. So a lot of their moves are to set cards. And hey, guess what? If your opponent is smart, they don't fuck with that.
Well, it's just also they were a deck that died to any kind of grave hate.
Yes.
In a meta where they were the only deck that did that.
Yes, if you turn off the graveyard for any reason, Shaddolls are bad because they have a lot of graveyard recursion. And if you negate in graveyard, they can't do shit. But Dragon is a very versatile card. Obviously, you don't want to set it because he's fucking dying if you do that. But if you do get a chance to like special summon it face down and flip it face up, that's a bounce. That's compulse. And then also he's an MST on a stick if you send him. So a very versatile card, very good. Speaking, by the way, of ways to remove Winda, in the mirror, I think Dragon is a great tactic.
Yeah. Yeah,
Alright.
especially a good tactic. No fusion spell coming back.
Alright. Now we're going to pull up... No, don't save as. Right-click, copy image. You've seen this little bird before. It's Falco.
Is that German alternative rock from Falco?
Nice.
I've gone on hard
Man.
times.
Wait. I love seeing like, oh yeah, look at these purple circles, then you look at his mouth. Another purple circle.
We have a theme, okay?
Yeah.
Branding.
Some of the helmet design sort of reminds me of Dark Magician.
I mean, to be fair, Falco's hat do be like that.
Yeah.
This is Gusto Falco, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, Falco is definitely the derpiest looking Shaddoll.
But that's fair.
Well, it's because
Yeah.
he's
Gave
Gusto
him
Falco.
Yeah.
How can
But,
you
like,
not
the
be
other
there?
Shadolls
By the
have
way,
gotten-
the one of the archetypes that is the ultimate at branding, Gusto.
I feel like the other Shadolls even got more of a makeover than him. Like, they just didn't really do anything. Right?
Well, I think it's because fundamentally there's not a lot to do with Falco. Like, he is a bird. He has armor. And so, Shaddoll Falco is a bird. He has armor. That's about it. There's not a lot you can do there. Like, just changing his body type to mechanical just makes him look like this. He's kind of a goober.
Yeah. Like, what else is that to do with him?
I think that means we don't have a lot to say about his art furthermore.
No.
Though he is purple and gold, as Loth brought up.
He is a mainstay in the deck, though.
Yes, so Shaddoll Falco is pretty interesting. First of all, this is a spellcaster flip tuner, because Falco was a tuner. Now, other than the fact that Gusto Falco was a tuner, I don't think there's any reason why Shaddoll Falco is a tuner. There's no in-archetype synchro monsters in Shaddoll, at least yet, and I don't think there will be, because your extra deck is already cram full. Sorry.
Lets you do synchros if you're trying to do it.
But yes, I think at the time when this came out in Duelist Alliance, that was very good, because especially as the Pendulum format went on, some pretty nice synchros got released.
Yeah.
I mean, Omega, this did give Shaddoll a very important tech option.
Yeah.
In Hauka Fibrax, Auroradon, and Borlug 7.
Well, yes, true. Also, it does mean
Yeah.
once Hulk comes out, you can run Hulk lines because he is a tuner. It also means you can special Falcos. So Falco is, a level 2 spellcaster dark, 600 attack, 1400 defense. Flip, target a Shaddoll monster in your graveyard, except Falco, special summon it in face down defense position. Lets you reset your boys. If this card is sent to the graveyard, special summon it in face down defense position. You can use once per turn. So if Falco is sent, he's free extension. And if he's flipped, you get to revive another one. You can cycle them. So Falco is a very common, very good Shaddoll card you see a lot of. And like I said, he's a tuner that opens up a lot of different options for you in your extra deck if you want them. And fine. Just he is a good boy. Because guess what? Most of your Shaddoll extra deck monsters only need to be fusion summoned first, so you can special them back with Falco. Your opponent has finally gotten rid of Winda with they flattened her. Nah, Falco. Winda's back. She's face down. You've got to attack her. That means you can't attack the Falco. Anyway.
Yeah.
He is a boy.
Yep.
And now one of the weirdest reaches, I think, for cards to convert to Shaddolls.
Yeah, this one, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
I don't know why we did this reference. So, other than, I guess it was 2015, so I think making jokes about Shadow the Hedgehog were funny. Probably. It's
Well, no, I
Shadow
think what it
Hedgehog.
really was is they wanted a representation from each tribe.
Probably. They wanted to represent all the dudes who died, so.
Yeah. There's not a lot you can do with Flamevel.
Yeah, so this is the Neo Flamevel, the Hedgehog. Now, once again, a little bit of a glow up here as I pull up his card art.
Oh, definitely.
Because if y'all don't remember that one time we did Neo Flamevel, this is Hedgehog.
Yep.
Yeah, Hodgehog's art is not great.
He lost
No.
the fat.
Well,
Lost
that's what
the
being
derp as
robotized
well.
will do. Yeah.
Yeah.
He also really slimmed down. He's no longer shaped like an actual
balloon?
pincushion. Yeah, or a
Yeah.
hot air balloon.
Yeah. Right.
And honestly, like Shaddoll Hedgehog looks sinister. He's shooting quills at you. It's cool.
I mean,
Neo
he looks like
Flamevel
every...
Hedgehog- Go ahead.
I'm going to be honest, Omega. He looks like every Sonic fan's OC in about 2008.
Yeah,
which
yeah,
makes him
true.
Entirely non-threatening.
Cold Steel. I understand. Like I said, it was a relevant time for this gag. I was gonna say that Neo Flamevel Hedgehog just looks deranged. He looks rabid.
Yeah.
Honestly,
It looks like
Flamevel's...
he's trying to suicide attack you.
Neo Flamevel's Hedgehog looks scarier because I think he's
Yeah.
actually just trying to die.
Yeah.
It's 2022. Can I make in this reference an Allahu Akbar joke?
Well, you did.
Uh,
Well, I didn't actually make a joke. I just said.
I don't know
it's
if
fine.
you can make that joke.
Hey, I'm American. That would be the reference would be being suicide bombed. And since we
I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole.
well, yeah,
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
have to deal with these conflicts. Down under boy, you've got other
Exactly.
problems.
Yeah, you have to deal with fucking emus and shit.
The wildlife
Crazy
is
people
really sad.
blowing up 5G towers.
But
Don't
like,
you guys
yeah,
have that too?
No, that was a British and Australian thing, and even Americans are just looking like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
and now I think just some people tried to like digitally take down the power grid in America to stop the 5G towers. Nobody actually attacked them.
Yeah, we didn't burn them down.
Because it turns out, if you do that, the mob will shoot you.
Well, no, the police will shoot you.
That too.
Honestly,
But
I also just think that in America, we just didn't want to lose our cell phone service.
Yeah, we're too attached to our
It's
phones.
like if you made that conspiracy theory happen in Japan, you think they're gonna take down the cell towers? No. But yeah,
no,
so
our crazy people
Hedgehog.
just think we're ruled by lizard people.
I think it's 4-point-something%.
Oh,
though
weather
there is-
vampires.
There is like I think a 2% margin of error. Now that does mean though the margin of error can go both ways. That means as much as
Yeah.
6% of people could believe that we're secretly ruled by lizardmen.
yeah.
I would like by the way, I'm just quoting the stats. I haven't rigorously vetted that survey that got that result, so I don't actually know how reliable
But
their
with the
process
shit
is.
I've seen online, that
There could be a
seems low to
selection
me.
bias,
Yeah. Selection bias and not enough
but we'll
sample
see. Anyway,
size. Yeah.
Shaddoll Hedgehog is a pretty normal one. He's a decent Shaddoll.
I don't like how big his toes are.
He does have big robot toes.
Yeah.
Those bother me for some reason.
He is a level 3. He is 800 attack, 200 defense, so he's getting flattened. Or you
Yeah.
can sink him away with, Falco to do a 5.
Or just pitch him for your deck from your deck.
Right.
Well, yeah. So We talked about how, for instance, Dragon is kind of like multi-purpose removal because it can bounce a monster or blow up a spell trap. Hedgehog is your multi-purpose searching. When he's flipped, add a shit all spell trap from your deck to your hand, which sometimes you do require.
No, that one's generally good.
Yes, and then if he's sent, add a shit all monster except Hedgehog. So,
Yeah.
Which
is also
yes,
very good.
Yeah,
'Cause
he is your
generally
searcher.
one of the first turn plays is pitch Squamata, pitch Hedgehog, pitch Falco.
Yeah.
Or search Falco, rather, not pitch
Mhm.
Falco.
Also, similarly, he's great for fusion fodder. We talked about the turn 1 Winda move, like just make Winda, search more shit-alls. Keep going.
So in their first wave, Shadows don't actually have a bad main deck monster in my opinion.
No. Like I said, it's
Now, when
funny
we get to
they
the
weren't.
second wave, we'll
Yes.
talk.
It's funny, like we said, Shaddolls didn't come out swinging in the tournament cuts, but as a deck, they came out swinging. Like we said, this is
No, they are
Beast
what
Dragon,
I would
Falco,
like to
Hedgehog, Squamata, who we're about to pull up, and then their first 2 fusion monsters were Construct and Winda. And while I'm pulling up Squamata, again, we don't need to show the art, but we should explain what El Shaddol Fusion does. So it's a
Shaddol
fusion
is
card.
Oh, good.
So it lets you, fuse from your hand or field. But if your opponent controls a monster that was special summoned from the extra deck, I believe it's the exact phrasing, you can use monsters from your deck. And I believe it's one of the first, if not the first, fusion spell to do that. I guess you could
I
argue
think
Future
so.
Fusion. But Future Fusion was super fucked and broken and had to be eroded like twice.
Future Fusion was banned at the time.
Also true. They had to do some work on Future Fusion, but that was a very roundabout way to send monsters from your deck to your graveyard to fuse. Basically that means that if your opponent does their whole turn 1 setup, like we said, with Construct being your target, you can just go, oh, I don't need to have a light monster on hand. I just need them in my deck. Fuck you, Construct. Like, it's a very effective card. And then I think their second fusion spell, El Shaddol Fusion, is, that's a quick play spell, so very spicy. Now, we've talked about Squamata before as an art source because we've brought up the monster he's based on. This one is weird. So this is Squamata. Squamata is just Latin, I think, for lizard.
Yeah.
So this is Shaddol Lizard. I am now going to remind you, because we did talk about it before, what monster this is based on, chat. If you don't remember, which, to be fair, you probably don't. Because it was 2 weeks ago. Spoilers.
Wait, was it?
Because it was
Oh,
Satellar Knight,
right. I
Anukel High.
remember.
Now, in the artwork of, I think it's not Sinister Shadow Games. It's Shadow Imprison, the field spell. The Shaddol field spell that's not called a Shaddol field spell, so it didn't get played a lot. You can see Anukel High being Shaddolized. So
Being
there's
captured,
a
which is
shadow that slurps up its soul. So the lifeless husk that's left behind is its weird dragony armor body. Plus some weird doll legs that come from somewhere. But yeah, so again, I think it's an interesting interpretation, right? Like, to look at these two side by side and go, huh, same guy. Kind of.
Yeah, like one standing up and it's like, yep, I'm a good.
Yeah.
I'd love to see
Yeah,
some
it's
animation.
gonna
for
scurry
Squamata.
along the floor and then hide in your walls.
Yeah, like I said, I'd love to see some animation on Squamata. That's got to be a freaky skitterer. Let's go. If you've ever seen a lizard try to get going when it's on like a slippery surface, it's adorable. Anyway, anything else to say about Squamata's artwork? Because I'm sure we'll have plenty to say about the effect. Because Squamata is good.
Yeah.
I mean, also to be fair, Isaiah, the thing that made that good was like very soon after, because I don't know how really good it was, but I do know that Future Fusion into Overload Fusion was a legitimate strategy.
It was.
Like, you can just, for Chimera Tech Overdragon, that was the same era. You can just, oh hey, I'm gonna dump every machine monster in my deck into Future Fusion. The same turn. Now I play Overload Fusion. I have a giant Chimera Tech die. Like,
Yeah.
it was a very fast turnaround for that. But yeah,
Yeah.
Skomata's artwork. Anything to say?
Not so much. Right. Right.
It's a little bit
lore-wise-
weird that it's crawling on the ground now.
Right.
Well, it is a
Lore-wise,
lizard.
this was great because this just teller that can free Kyrkion.
Do
I'm
not
just
touch the
staring at
shadow.
this.
It's bad for you.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of is just me.
So Shadal Skomata is another level 4. It's 1800, 1k. Flip. Target a monster on the field, destroy it. So it's a man-eater bug. But the more important thing, you will almost never see that activated because its set to graveyard effect is Foolish to Shadal. So you will almost always, for any given effect, you will see a starter, possibly with the actual Foolish Burial. You will, if possible, send Skomata and then immediately send another Shadal. Usually Hedgehog to search or Beast to draw a card, depending on what's in your hand. Do you need more cards? Draw. Do you need a specific card? Hedgehog. Alternatively, it's also because of, as we've discussed, the way Dragon is worded. Oh, does your opponent have an annoying spell trap that they need? Skomata. Fish Dragon. Die. So, yeah, it's a very spicy, effective card. By the way, shout out to y'all. There's quite a few of you tonight. I think we're peaking
Yay.
at like 20 and more.
Shut
Oh,
up!
wow. Shadol is good.
I think my thumbnail is working. All right, so we're gonna move from Skomata to our next wave. There were a couple more monsters in the next set.
Are we gonna not talk about the derpy ones, I assume?
Oh, I mean we are.
Oh, we're talking about the Zephyrs?
Oh, I mean yeah, that's later though. That was several sets down the line. We'll bring them up because we need to cover the
I
Shadal
can't
Zephyrs.
pay attention to what
No,
way,
no,
what's in what way.
In the right away, the very next set, new challengers, technically premiering in Duelist Alliance Deluxe Edition. That's right. This was a special Deluxe Edition promo.
Oh god.
Yeah, I have no idea why. But let me just.
Oh, is this Shek?
No, this is
Oh.
a main deck monster.
The fuck, main deck monster was a special edition card.
Whatever. Yeah.
Shadal
whatever spells are around.
Hound.
Oh, right, this is a
Did you
card.
forget?
Oh yeah, right. That has been played. I think I guess played this.
I've never played this
I have
card
played.
in my
I have
entire
played
life.
it because I have required extra Shadal monsters. Yes, because
No, I've
every
never played
motherfucker
this
got
card in
a
my life.
Shadal card and was like, "I will play Shadal."
That's not true. I got no Shadal cards until they got reprinted.
It's not
True.
entirely true. I think you got a Shadal card and were like, "I'll play Shadal."
I
Hey,
did
know
know.
Shadol.
I
my
did
God,
the
I
dumb
did
thing
not.
of being like, I want people to not play full power Shadal, so I would just. keep
No,
cards.
you're lying to yourself. You're gaslighting yourself. You told me the first wave of support. No, I want to play Shadal. I'm going to keep all these cards.
And then I think my opinion changed a set later.
I don't really know why
Then
that
you
set
lie.
later would have changed anything.
No,
Well,
my
no, that's
opinion
not true.
changed-
Shek is in this set, and you banned Shek for some reason.
My opinion changed in the
We could lock me
in
down
the,
or
in the
if anything else
Megaton
banned.
for that. In
It's
the
not a
Megaton
lockdown.
for
It
that
was a
game.
single negate.
In the Megaton for that week, or for that year rather,
Yes.
when I actually got the Shadal cards.
But poor Hound
Poor
slash
doggo.
slash Satellar Knight Sirius. Not useful in
Yeah.
either archetype, really.
No.
So this is a very similar
The
stratagem.
man
to,
was in two archetypes and bad in both.
very similar design ethos to Skomata. You can tell a lot more that we've like filled the armor that was left over with like rock stuff in this one, which is kind of an interesting aesthetic.
Knights just went, you floor now.
Well,
Yeah.
like I said, I'm not actually. I don't know if the Satellar Knights truly got or just they had to like lose their powers because it's just the
No,
armor.
I think they got God. I think
Also, actually, here's the thing. It was the U one who was got because it was trying to save Kyrkion, but this one was actually Sirius was actually saved before being turned, but the armor was taken.
Okay,
yeah, so,
so-
that makes sense. That's why there's so much weird rock filler because it's just like
yeah,
his
Anuko
powers.
High got God.
Yeah, got slurped
I know
up.
that one.
He got like actually like
That was,
swallowed by the
and
ground.
specifically that card art was Curse of the Shadow Prison, right? That was the name of the
Yeah.
field spell. But yeah, Hound is a
Started
doggo.
good.
No. I mean, it has a
I don't even
purpose.
think the art is very good.
No, the art's pretty normal. It's just Teller Knight
It's
Man.
meh bleh.
But I can see what they were going for Hound, and I mean, when you've already got so many stellar cards, it's hard to keep knocking them out of the park.
That's
But,
true, I guess.
no, it's not Flamebow Flare. Yeah, you're
No,
jabber
it's
that.
not.
No.
That would make sense.
That would have been interesting. No. So Shaddoll Hound has he's level 4, but he has bad stats. He's 1600 attack, 900 defense. So, you know, not really worth either of
To be
those.
fair, Shadolls have never been very good at stats.
Well, no, they're usually pretty for their levels. They're usually pretty balanced. Like Dragon is 19, Squamata is 18. So like hypothetically, you could normal summon them. You don't because Squamata is so good, but like you could. Hound as a level 4 is like this stat distribution is bad, and his effects don't make up for it. His flip effect is recycle a Shaddoll in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Okay, cool. I see what you're going for there. Here's the problem. All of your fusions do that for spell traps, and then...
Also, Falco exists.
Yeah, and then Falco brings back your monsters, and he special summons them to the field. Like, it's not really better than any of the stuff you already do. I can like I said, I can understand what they're going for, but Shaddolls already cycle pretty well. And its effect when sent from the graveyard is very weird. This has a weird parenthetical. If this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, target a monster on the field, change its battle position. Flip monsters' effects are not activated at this time, except Shaddoll monsters. You can only use one effect per turn. So I kind of see what they're going for. They're trying to give you like an in-archetype Book of the Sun, Book of Tayo. Hey, if you really want to flip your monsters that bad, you could just play Book of Tayo.
Yeah. Or you could just play not that.
No, you don't have to.
Just play neither of them.
Yeah, you
Or
just don't.
play Sinister Shadow games.
Yes,
Yeah,
they already had a trap card that was very good at flipping your guys face up because it lets you foolish
all of them.
and also flip if you want all of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a Hound just is in a lesser archetype. He would probably be a mainstay card because his flip effect is to recycle. And like for comparison, the Primo effect in Subterror that Hidden City does is what this guy's Send to Graveyard effect is. Flip a guy up, right? But the two decks work completely differently, so he's not worth it. He's like not worth the space. There's way better cards to be playing in Shaddoll. So, let's see. No, we'll bring up that guy later. So this is going to be an odd extra deck one. Our next extra deck boy does not have a strict 1-to-1.
I mean,
it
there's some
is...
stuff.
Yeah, it's Grista. So Grista is
Grista
Shaddoll
is very
core and also all of the 9 Pyroxenes of the Gem Knights.
Yeah.
So you could argue that he's kind of Master Diamond in that case, but there's a much more obvious Master Diamond comparison later, so I figured we'd just show you Grista, because
This is
there's some stuff
honestly
going on.
what I for one of the few times I agree with the Yu-Gi-Oh wiki is I think this is Karen Gorgon's body.
Oh, well, yeah, obviously it is, because his head is core. Like, it's doing the dragon thing, and it's got the core, which means it's part Karen Gorgon. It's all the Pyroxenes are added. They all got huge, though, once again. Let me see if there's a lore note on Grista specifically. Yes. Watch the blah, blah, blah. Attain the power of the 10 core. Shaddoll core turned into Shaddoll Grista.
Yeah. Yeah, from... Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, it got a hold of the core juice, the core orbs to upgrade itself. So yeah, its core upgrades into Grista. But we've already shown you core, and I think we've shown Karen Gorgon several times in this series. But yeah, like art-wise, there's a lot going on. It's very interesting to me. I think technically at this point, let me scroll up a little in the list. Had we switched forms of construct? No, I don't think the Clees have actually woken up yet. So, it's very interesting that Grista appears to basically be like in terms of like scale and purpose structurally.
It is the tree.
Well, yeah, it's representing the tree. It's not physically the tree because he physically beats up the tree. But yeah,
I shouldn't say it isn't the tree. It just
it's got the 10 cores.
It has the 10 points of the Kabbalah on it.
Yeah,
it
which is
shaped in the Kabbalah.
And I think the
YMCA pose
yes,
for some reason.
Yeah, he's praising the sun and stuff. I think the interesting thing is, one, obviously he's huge, right? Like you can see the scale on core as his head and all that stuff, and as usual, there's Winda for scale. We have a lot of Windas for scale, as Zed brought up in chat. But I think it's interesting how it has the same puppet string effect as Construct, but red. I don't know if we ever see any monsters explicitly who have, like, red strands.
Oh, I just found some cursed artwork. Holy shit.
All right.
I found a Toon El Shadal Grista art.
Oh, that's gonna be very derpy. What the fuck? Are you?
What the fuck?
Okay.
I'm sorry, I just saw that and I went,
I know.
what is
These
this?
fuckers, I feel like, don't stop doing that stuff. Don't save as anything. Never save as. It's not entirely true, but in this case, don't save as.
I think it's weird, but I don't think it's terrible. I think it's just weird.
It's not terrible art, it's just why.
No,
Also,
it's just we've made some decisions here.
I would say I may be stupid. I've
Lots
never
of
noticed that Grista is actually the core. But
Well,
I'm-
again,
It's not that-
it's really hard to. That's too much shrinkage. It's very hard to tell when they're small. Like when you're looking at the card art outside of context, you can't see that Grista's magnificent
Head is
mane
a
is literally
Cyclops.
core. Yeah.
Or, yeah, you can't tell that it's a fucking Cyclops tree.
Yeah.
I just noticed the orbs and went, wait, is this thing literally the tree? And then I looked it up from there.
Yeah. And no, it is not literally the sacred tree we see later, but it
No,
does
because
have
This
the
one
10
even looks wooden. Like, if you look at its legs, this one looks made of
Well, I
wood.
think it's all ripped out all the
I think
orbs.
no. I think some of that has to do with the color, because this guy's actually a. It's funny we bring up the golem comparison as well. This guy a rock.
Oh, yeah, that would make more sense. Huh.
I kind of like that Winda's there for all of them. Like she's just
Yes.
kind of.
I mean,
But,
also I think it makes sense that it's a rock because again, it's explicitly they became the Yang Zing cores later, but it was the Pyroxene, so it was the Gemnite stuff. Also, by the way, it's been like 2 weeks since we did this. Hey, I guess we're not getting Duelist to the Pyroxene. Because Power of the Elements has the new power, the new Morphtronic support, and all the
Is that
Ishizu
another
shit got
Structure
pushed to Winter with the special holiday box.
Oh.
No sign of Amazon yet,
So
so that's weird.
I
That's
never
gonna be
noticed,
freaky.
but I guess because like now I actually see this, I guess like Grista's like the phase 2 of like the Shadal fight arc. I guess.
Not really, no.
Well,
No.
okay, so...
Basically,
time
they keep
for
attacking the tree.
lore.
Go for it.
Time for lore. So this is a really weird thing with the next two, where they actually have Sumerian counterparts.
Yeah.
Because Yugarista, which is the name of what it is in Japan, is one of the terms for, I believe it's Tiamat. So, yeah. What symbology does that have? I have no idea. It makes less sense with the other one, too, because, spoiler, with the Earth one, there's some weird shit with that, too.
Yeah, I can't find any direct relation to the actual transliterated phrase Igrista.
Oh, trust me, it took some digging to find it.
But yeah, it's got some weird names. They just dropped the E for some reason, and Grista was enough. But talking about, is this phase 2? No, this is still phase 1. Like, the Shadals go at this for a long time. Technically, we talked about when we did Yang Zing that Sombre, gives back the juice to the land, and that makes some Yang Zings with the cores, the Pyroxenes. So, While she was doing that, Evil Swarm Kirkion was accidentally oopsing everybody. Again, thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
And
Well, and then he just decided, you know, I fucked up so badly, I'm just gonna go to space.
well, it's way later
Yeah.
though. But Shaddoll Core basically pukes up our first wave of Shaddoll, which includes regular Construct. And they start, causing business. They do Sinister Shadow games to make Shaddoll Dragon and El Shaddoll Winda and all that stuff. Some more Yangzings come down from space, and some Satellar Knights show up, but one of them gets eaten, blah, 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 blah. Grista is, like, in the middle of that conflict of Yangzings and Satellar Knights are fighting Shaddolls, because that's when Yazi shows up and they get access to all the extra cores.
And then they kaiju morph into this fucking thing.
Yeah. After which, then we have to try and get all the extra guys. That's when we get Necros and Ritual Beast Tamers involved.
Well, and that's when the Klees wake up, I believe.
Yes, the Klees wake up in the next batch because that's when the Ritual Beasts get attacked. And
Well, no, because also Shekanaga is a response to the Klees.
Well, yeah, but Shek is after that a little bit because it's, like I said, there's this whole process where everybody... After Grista, everybody else gets involved, but the Ritual Beast Tamers get ambushed, and Winda touches the tree. That's El Shaddoll Fusion. And then that becomes the card Climate Change, which we will probably talk about later. Sacrifice. Yeah, in Sacrifice, you can see Grista is dead, and all the cores are getting slurped up by the Klees.
There is one spell trap I want to talk about for Shaddoll, art-wise, because it's very, very, very important.
Yeah, which one?
Nefesh Shaddoll Fusion?
Nef Shaddoll Fusion? Yeah, we'll probably bring that up in a little bit, because
That
that's
one's very
around
important.
the time Towers comes up. So Grista is a Fire Rock Fusion, level 7, 2415, 1950, which is same stats as Karen Gorgon. It's a Shaddoll and a Fire monster. Must first be Fusion summoned. Now, I've heard Grista kind of off and on discuss his effects. I think he's okay.
Grista is very mediocre.
The two guys in this set are both negates, but for different things. El Shaddoll Grista is when your opponent would special summon a monster while you have a Shaddoll card in your hand. Quick effect: negate the summon, destroy that monster, send a Shaddoll card from your hand to graveyard once per turn, and then if it's sent
This
to graveyard,
card can be very good, but especially once you start getting into the hybrid builds, it just becomes too unreliable.
I mean, honestly, I think the main thing is I get what they're going for here. The problem is that Grista is a weaker Winda. Yes, he can negate one special summon as opposed to preventing your opponent from special summoning more than once per turn. And he doesn't have any protection. He's slightly bigger and certainly against certain decks has his uses, but is not an outstanding guy.
Yeah, I would say Grista in a pure Shaddoll deck, Grista is great. Like I would never feel like there's only really one Shaddoll I would never run, I think. Yeah. Or never run in main deck, I should say.
Spoilers, it's Hound.
Well, no, I'm saying the extra deck ones.
Oh. Well, you said main deck, so.
Sorry, there's only one extra deck Shaddoll I wouldn't run. And that's... Because there's a couple of main decks I wouldn't run, honestly. Most of them being from the second wave.
Well, it's true. As we've discussed, you don't anything that says Zephyr in it, unless you're exactly running like a combo deck like Zephyr Yangzing, you don't ever actually run those in your archetype.
Well, no, I'm not even just... look, the Fire in Shaddoll has an unfortunate curse or something.
I mean, I feel like people said Hell Shaddoll was okay.
Oh, I don't agree.
Anyway, speaking of the
Anyway.
thing,
Yeah,
this is Shekinaga, which is kind of interesting because it looks in the art here, it looks like Construct is being restrained by Apocryphal Towers, who we will not discuss what it does, but I will bring up the art for.
But no, she's using it as a chair.
Yeah.
And
Listen-
she's kind of into bondage.
Yeah, I about to say, listen, she's got a casual kink, okay? We don't kink shame here.
It's very hilarious considering what her name literally translates to.
Yeah.
Her name is transformed to the female divine form. Or sorry, the feminine aspect of the divine presence. Shekinah.
Yeah.
Also, and this will be a familiar word to people in FGO, another word for that is Malkuth.
Huh.
But yeah, so you can see Apocalypse Towers. It's very big. It's kind of tower shaped. And Shek's art is literally just Construct was like, "Yo, I'ma sit here."
I'ma sit on your face.
Your towers, my towers.
And by the way, with Super Poly, you can make Shekinaga with Apocalypse Towers because it is an Earth. And
I mean,
Shek
more
is the
likely
Earth one.
It's meant to be. I think it's more likely meant to be done with. God, what is it? What's the Shadal fusion that can do graveyard shit?
Did I miss this? If this is also one of the only ones where she has her actual eyes open?
I mean, she always has her eyes slightly open. They're very low. You can see it in the side shot face more.
Yeah.
It seems like she's having a fun time and like causing chaos.
Yeah, or she's just really happy about those.
I mean, I'm
cards.
gonna be honest. At the time, Dallas, I don't think you had a graveyard fusion.
That's true. Oh, right, that is later. No, oh, yeah, yeah.
Because
Yes,
you can't do it with Invoked that way.
No.
Because Invoked you can only banish for Invoked summons.
Okay, so from
But I can pull up the artification on Nefshadal fusion.
Yes, because that is importante.
Because that is about
Muy
this
importante.
time. But before I do that, really quick to recap what Shek does. Shek is an Earth Machine, level 10. Again, it's very obvious what the combo is here. 2600 attack, 3k defense, 1 Shadal plus 1 Earth, must be first be fusion summon. When a special summoned monster activates its effect while you have a Shadal card in your hand, quick effect, negate the activation, destroy that monster, send a Shadal card from your hand to your graveyard. You can only use this effect once per turn. When send to the graveyard there. So once per turn, it is a negate of a special summoned monster, in case you forgot about that one meme from the original prog run. Which is okay, and I think considering it's got such a fat booty, Shek is a very decent monster. Like, it gives you access to an inner archetype negate, but keep in mind, I'm fairly certain you would be running Valor in some of these decks, some versions of this decks, to have a light target.
Oh, you know,
Construct,
your Valor was a mandatory at 3 out. Not even just because of Shadal, but because of it outs Dante, it outs a lot of shit.
Well, yeah, Valor was a very good card at the time, but the fact that it also let you have a construct target, like, you do not necessarily need to make an extra deck monster for a once per turn negate.
But no, Shek was a mathematician. That was what you made Shek with.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, but you have Valors in deck. But yes, you play Mathematician because Mathematician is an honorary Shadal card because his effect is send a monster from deck to grave. That was your normal summon. You guys have seen me on Prog do this line. Normal summon Mathematician, pitch Squamata, pitch Hound.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just triple check the lore. Apparently Kirkion with Deltros restrain El Shadal construct into the towers to make check, and then froze it through Shirit. You use the 3 powers of the Dragons of the Ice Bears, Brianna, Gungnir, and Trishula.
So they made something scarier to deal with, but then they paused that so they could deal with it.
Yeah.
I feel like our heroes are not the best future planners.
Kirkion is how do we say this? A fucking dumbass.
Like,
But this
let's
is
make
this
something.
is Nefashadal fusion.
Yes.
Which, by the way, if any of you own this card in Prague that aren't
I
Dallas
do,
or
I'm
Robin,
not trading it.
yeah, I better say
Yeah,
who aren't
don't
Dallas
have.
or Robin, I never got one, even though it was printed a couple of times, and I would not mind it. But yeah, so this is the step immediately after Winda touches the tree. This is technically before Shekinaga, but like I said, we're working on stuff. You'll notice the climate changes happened. We've got all our orbs back, and Scout is out there, and we're basically recovering the vacuum
It's
tubes.
orbit time.
Yeah, we've realized some of our weird vacuum tubes have gotten loose from our sacred tree system. Hold on, let us put those back.
Yes. Now this card is very important because of its name.
Yeah.
because it kind of gives away the whole, like, people might have been saying, it's like, oh, you're making a lot of assumptions on what Shadal are. No, Nefesh literally means the soul reborn in its primal state.
Yeah.
That's what it is, Nefesh.
And in
the
the
first
original
state of the soul.
And in the original Japanese, you pronounce this as Nefeshiroru fusion.
Yeah. No, this is
it's
the
all
giveaway.
one word. Yeah. By the way, its effect is also pretty decent. You declare an
Also,
attribute.
can I please say the Italian name? Because I
Sure,
fucking
go for
love
it.
Fiocione Bambolo Bambalombra Nefes.
Yes. The Italian name for Shadal's is Bambola Ombra.
Bambolo Bambalombra.
The French name, by the way, is badass because it's really long,
Yeah.
but it's Marionette della Ombra.
Yeah.
No, I just
The
can't get
French
over
one
that.
is
I'm
definitely,
sorry.
Best.
Fusion Sombraneja Nefe.
Sorry. Yes.
It's very interesting. I just realized the Korean phonemes are very similar. It's just with some of the F sounds are actually P's. It's like Nepa Sedoru Pujon.
Okay, the German name just sounds dirty. Schattenpuppen.
Never shot in Puppen Fusion. I mean, it reminds me of a joke about German, which is Scheisenheckenborg, which is, German is a compound language. They make new words by slamming together old words. So, but yeah, what Nef-Shadal Fusion does, by the way, is it's an equip spell card. Activate it by declaring an attribute. You can equip only a Shadal monster. It becomes that attribute during your main phase. You can fusion summon a Shadal fusion monster from your extra deck using monster from your hand or field, including the equipped monster. So this basically gives you another attribute switcher instead of core. But okay,
Right.
so as we can see, for the most part, our Shadals go from causing a bad time to having a bad time here.
Yeah.
Though,
Yeah.
funnily enough, I guess it's just because it took them a while to get to Ritual Beast Tamers, but Wendigo, which came out next. Speaking of extra deck guys, you probably don't run. I don't. You can. I don't. I feel like I haven't made Wendigo on purpose in a long time.
I've run it in some hybrids, but not a lot.
I mean, I still feel like the most popular Shadal hybrid is Shadal Invoked, in which case, if you can make a win to make Raijin, that guy's rad.
Well, yeah. But, no, I've played Shadal... Oh, God, what was that? I played Shadal Heroes, and I did run this.
I mean, I guess I could see it, because you have an excess of win targets because you're running Stratos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, Great Tornado's cool, but... anyway, I'm pulling up the card. But yes, this is El Shadal Wendigo. Wendigo. I don't know if anybody gets that one.
Winnebago?
Dallas, I'm actually kind of shocked you don't get that one. Because I know you love schlocky, terrible horror movies.
I think I know that what you're talking about.
I don't remember the subtitle, but the movie is just called Wendigo. But there's an old dude who just
Oh,
says,
no,
Wendigo.
I don't think
I
I've
get that
seen that
sound
one.
clip somewhere. Anyway,
Yeah.
El Shadal Wendigo is, it's Wendy, but also it's just Ritual Beast Ulti Pedalfin. Literally has the
This
same
is
stats.
definitely the Shadal monster with the least fucking anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, we ambushed the Ritual Beasts and we took over Ulti Pedalfin.
Yeah. This was... Yeah, it's just like, new plan, let's take over this one.
Well, I think it's because, like I said, Necros and Ritual Beast Tamers were going to team up to fight Shadals, and they were like, nah,
Yeah.
fam, we're already there.
Yeah, apparently this was happening at the Final Battle Sacred Tree, pretty
Yes.
much.
So this was technically pre-Shekinaga, but we didn't print this one until a couple of sets later. This was Secrets of Eternity. Interestingly enough, in Japanese, this is also El Shadal Wendigo.
Yeah, this one doesn't have any special anything.
Actually, wait, this was the first time when Tiara was, like, repulsed.
So, this is a Wind Psychic Fusion. It is level 6, 200 attack, 2800 defense. Must first be special summoned, requires a wind monster. Quick effect. Target a monster you control. It can't be destroyed by battle with an opponent's special summon monster. You can only use this effect once per turn. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one, Shaddoll spell trap, and add it to your hand. So, Wendigo obviously is a bit of a stall card. It's got 2000 defense on its own, and it has a kind of protection effect, which is quick. So, it's not as powerful as Construct, but when you're on the back foot, you can certainly use it to make your monsters basically indestructible, you know? Bitrate getting a little screwy. Hopefully that evens out. Sorry about that if you're experiencing buffering. But yeah, Wendigo is not a, I think, very common tech card. It works. And I would certainly say, like, you saying you actually made it a few times in a hero variant, I can totally see that, because most main deck hero monsters whose names aren't Neos or Honest Neos are not really huge. So giving them protection so you can continue to do stuff is useful.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely say I think it's the second nichest of the fusions. Yeah. But honestly, I can't even see running this one in side decks for the most part, so...
I mean, I still run it in my Shaddoll builds, but that's because, as we've discussed, we're in limited, so I don't have a perfect collection.
Yeah. If you're also, even if you're running pure Shaddoll, like, you don't have enough names to not run this.
All right, so can we get a? All right, that's right. It's a Pendulum monster for some reason. The Wikipedia is very good about literally every card art in Master Duel except Pendulum monsters. I don't know why.
Oh god, are we at the fucking Zephyrs?
Yeah, we're at the Zephyrs.
Oh boy.
But hey, after we get out of this, we can talk about Anoyatelis.
Oh,
well,
right.
I refuse to call her that because that's we'll get to it.
Okay.
Anyway,
that's not her name.
His art's a little big boy, but this is Shaddoll Zephyr Core. And I will attempt to grab Mr. Diamond.
Yeah, this is Master Diamond. But
remember how them Zephyrs where we got to bring back guys what done did get corruptified or killed, as evidenced by the fact that there's a Zephyr Weddies.
Yeah.
We did. The Shaddolls are Master Diamond and technically Kyrkion, but there's also it's Constellar Caduceus, but also he's different. It hurts my brain. That guy's like five guys. That guy's like five guys. I hate it. Okay, this guy's
I hate Kyrkion so much.
There's literally like 4 or 5 of him, and it causes me pain. Anyway, God.
Also
okay,
much
hold
like
on.
the last WoW expansion.
I have a giant DeviantArt blow up of core here. I gotta 50% him or something because I literally can't fucking fit Master Diamond on screen. Other than his one fist, which is not the part you need to see. You really need to see his head and his shoulders, because those are the parts that match up. Okay. Become small. There we go. Okay. So, yeah. Again. He's got some differences. His armor's a little spruced up in a couple of places. I think he actually takes some design elements from, Karen Gorgon. And he's very clearly got the, I could be your angle or your devil, baby.
Like I said, it's the Sephirotification.
Yes. And I definitely think his dark half wild hair is kind of a core / Grista reference.
This is definitely not my favorite Zephyr art. It's a bit too on the nose, honestly.
I mean, it's very obvious what they're taking inspiration from once again, and they went way too ham on the dark half. His light half is just, I'm a normal guy, and then his dark half is extra spikes, extra hair.
So anime. It's so anime, it's painful.
He's even got the flowing locks in the wind.
Yeah.
So, Zephyr Core is weird. He's technically a Shaddoll monster, but he's a rock, so he's very obviously a Gem Knight. But also he's core, because stats. Anyway, it's weird. Shaddoll Zephyr Core is a dark rock pendulum, level 4, scale 7, so he's your high scale in this combo. 450 attack, 1950 defense. Pendulum effect is just you can't pendulum summon except Zephyrs and Shaddolls.
Yeah.
So I do think his effects are funny, but utterly useless in a non-Zephyr deck. So
No,
if this-
they're bad in a don't worry, they're bad in a Zephyr deck.
Okay,
too.
I mean, they may be bad, but outside of a Zephyr deck, they don't do anything, because his monster effect is if this card is pendulum summoned or sent to the graveyard, which obviously if you're fusing and shit all would happen, but the colon is you can target a Zephyr card in your pendulum zone except Zephyr Core, special summon it. You can only use this once per turn. So, Zephyr Core is bad.
Oh wait, is Zephyr Core the non-bad? Hold on. One of the Shaddol ones is absolutely useless, and one of them is like niche okay.
I mean, I would say this one is probably niche because it lets you get Zephyrs out of your pendulum zone when he's summoned, so you get extra summons.
Well, you don't want it would be the graveyard thing, not the pendulum.
I mean,
thing.
okay, but do Zephyr? I mean, I guess you can do like pops with Zephyr Yangzing stuff.
Yeah, there's
That wouldn't go, no, if that was face up, it would go to extra. He's a pendulum monster. He goes to the extra deck.
Yeah, like I said.
That's what I'm saying. Like 2 Shaddolls.
No, this card is useless.
Okay,
yeah, this card was
is
never
the
used.
one.
in-
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Because,
Anyone.
like, obviously, I see what they're going for. Hey, when you fuse him to do some kind of Shaddol thing, he can go to the graveyard. So you can do the thing. But you won't do that. You won't do that because why are you doing that? Why would you be fusing a Shaddol monster if you were going to be playing Zephyrs in your pen? It doesn't work. They tried to make the 2 archetypes mesh. It just doesn't work, and he's just a useless bricky man. He's not good. Now, I do actually believe Zephyr Naga does get used occasionally.
Yeah, this is like a one of the mostly because he's a 1, and the 1s are kind of all a bit iffy. Like
Yeah, so I think I'll use this sword for him because that's the most.
Zephyr decks are hard, man.
I understand. So, Wikipedia and other sources like can't make up their mind about which name to use for what this is a reference to, what Zephyr Naga is a reference to. Also, hold on, I have to go once again. He's a pendulum card, so he's got long art. So I gotta go hunt for a. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, the Shaddol Zephyrs don't get used. Because, like, it's mostly the Satellar Knights and the Ritual Beasts and the Yangzings. Because Zephyr Nui is broken.
So what I will use as the card reference here, because I think it's the most relevant with the hat he's wearing, is Evils from Kerkion. But keep in mind, like I said, this guy's been like... Zephyr Naga is like, I think, his 4th monster card. And it is not his last.
Nope.
Nope.
But yeah, so Zephyr Naga is... I mean, he's got the Shaddol body markings, like he's got like ring joints for his legs instead. But he is very clearly Kirkion.
Oh, yeah, no, they use... some decks use Zephyr Naga.
Yeah.
That's right. I remember why.
But yeah, it is actually Kirkion, but Shaddoled, but also Zephyrid, so he's got wings. And I guess his Shaddolification and switching to ball joints made him taller. He wish he was a baller.
Wish he was a little bit taller. Sorry.
But I don't think there's really anything to say about his artwork here. He's just that guy.
Yeah, so Zephyr Naga is good at setting up Zephyrath summons. Because
Fair
you
enough.
shoot him back to your hand so you can summon him.
Yeah, so Zephyr Naga is a level 2 dark spellcaster. He has a pendulum scale 1. He's 900, 100. His pendulum effect is just you can't pendulum except Shaddolls or Zephyrs.
That's all of their pendulum
yes.
effects.
Yeah, like usual.
Except for Zephyrath, which is like a paragraph. But
If this card is pendulum summoned or sent to the graveyard, you can target one card in either player's pendulum zone, return it to the hand. You must have a Zephyra in your pendulum zone to activate and resolve these effects. So, yeah, he lets you
it's
recycle
for
your
Zephyrath.
guys. Yeah, he
Well,
lets
no,
you
it's-
recycle your guys.
Yeah, because Zephyrath's whole effect is you need 3 Zephyra pendulums to summon him.
Yeah.
but he's also the best scale, so you can
Which,
use
funnily
him
enough, kind
to
of, I think,
bounce Zephyr.
also makes him, like, I don't think we brought that up, but kind of makes him a alternate to Towers. Sorry.
I wish I had
Jeez.
more to say besides I kind of like the design and how cute.
I mean, like
how
I said, I don't think
odd it
there is a lot to say. He
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
just
there's not
Kirkion
much.
again.
It
Yeah.
feels like it's just season 2 Kirkion.
Yeah,
It's
basically.
very like I said, the Zephyrs are varying quality in their artwork.
Like
They
the animation
either-
budget just got changed, so like.
well, no, they either take on this weird anime appearance like the Shadal ones do, or they just look like more cards from their archetype, like the Yangzings and Centellar Knights do.
But yeah, so
Sometimes with wangs.
as usual, like with a lot of Zephyr cards, he's absolutely useless in his own archetype because he requires
Yeah.
you to have Zephyr.
It is
pendulums and
almost
cycle.
Zephyr's thing at this point.
Yeah. But as we pointed out, there do be one more. There's another attribute we haven't hit yet.
Water.
Book
Yes.
1, water. That reminds me, I still have to finish that fucking series.
Ah.
It's a good series.
And, once again, you're going to see a future preview for this because, again, as we said, with causing future problems. So, this is in English is El Shaddai.
Anoia Tillis, which
Yes.
is a bastardization of the Romanji of this.
Yes,
Because it
in-
is Anamaridis,
Yeah.
which should translate in English and would have been a much better name, translators who did a shit job, into Anomalilith,
Yeah.
which is what it's supposed to be.
I don't know
Because
if they were. I don't know if they were.
No,
like-
it's literally the kanji for anomaly and Lilith.
Well, yeah, I know what
smooshed
I mean.
together.
But I'm saying, I don't know if they were being hesitant. Obviously, Lilith Lady of the Lament came out a few years later, so I don't know if they like weren't sure they could pull that trigger in like what is this? Yeah, mid 2015. So yeah, I don't know. I do agree with you. I think Anomalilith like isn't a direct reference and is a much better idea of what's going on here. Especially
Oh, yeah.
because, hey, remember how we talked about how they did that whole
Infernoids?
nonsense with, well, they did that whole thing with Shek to, like, solve a future problem for the future?
Yeah.
I don't know if that got better, because the thing that, Anoyatilis is wambo-camboed with, canonically, I believe, is, Infernoid
believe-
Deviati.
I
Yeah.
believe the Infernoids initiated this one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
there's,
so just don't, guys, don't just freeze your problems for later. Deal
Yeah.
with your problems.
Also, if you didn't know about this, the head of the Deviati Decatron is inside of Anatolis.
Makes sense.
And this happened after Winda touched the tree.
Why does it sound like
Honestly, this
someone's
happens
tapping a
quite.
bottle?
Probably because somebody's tapping a bottle. Who
Because
knows?
my fan is tapping a bottle.
Oh,
But yeah, but as you might guess, this this is very close to the climax. We have not yet quite actually got to like all the big stuff because Tiara hasn't actually popped out yet.
Yeah.
But still, like we're in a big way here. Art wise, I think it's interesting. So obviously because of by the way, did you know Void Trap Hole is lore connected to this?
Yep.
Because of the results of Void Trap Hole and stuff, there was a lot of iciness going on. That's why everything is cold now.
Hey, Omega, I also just realized something.
What's up?
You can't super poly Apocryphal Towers into Shekanaga.
Why not?
It's a towers.
It's not that kind of towers.
No, it's unaffected by spell traps.
Spell
Is it
trap.
spell trap?
Yeah.
Spell traps anything.
I thought towers was just can't be targeted, can't be destroyed.
No, it's unaffected.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad Axe could never make towers work.
I don't know why,
It's-
but it just never works.
It's just towers is smaller than a lot of towers, so you could just punch it.
Yeah.
No, not really. It's 3K. It's the stat
Plus,
line that I hate.
Plus, it also has the minus 500 for every special summon monster.
Right, Cleaforks.
And you
These are
can
kind of
put
a
down
dickhead
like
guy.
2 or 3. It'd be like, nope, you're not ever going to begin this or ever.
Well, Tower sucks. He's bullshit. I hate him. If MBT wants to use Junior Journey to go back in time and fix climate change, I would fix climate change, and I would just make towers have never existed.
God, that's gonna be a funny Junior Journey when it comes out.
It's gonna be very late.
I
mean-
normal summon towers. I win.
Doesn't it say it can't? Yeah, it just says it can normal summon. It's gonna be special.
Well,
Yeah.
I do believe they have said for purposes of like the Egyptian god cards, you can tribute to normal summon to get their effect that say this monster can be.
Yeah.
Because doesn't Tower say he has to be normaled by tributing 3 Clees? Or is it only to get his effect you have to tribute 3 Clees? 'Cause-
input.
Yeah. For guys like that,
Also,
you can't just normal
How
summon.
will Pend work if you only get one spell activation?
Very
Let's see
shittily.
here. Yeah, it just says cannot be special summoned, so it must be.
What's the fucking Omni-Man meme? That's the neat part. It doesn't.
That's pretty good, yeah. I
Yeah.
wonder if they'll they'll house rule that, or they just won't, and that'll be part of the decomplicating Yu-Gi-Oh. Hey, guess what? You know those pendulums that give Yugi boomers anxiety attacks? You can't do them. You can't do them in Junior Journey. We solved the
Yeah.
format.
Yugi boomers are the biggest problem with Yu-Gi-Oh.
Pendulum Endymion will never exist. He will never haunt your nightmares.
The
Yeah,
problem, the
just
thing about the Yugi
double-
Boomers though is that they don't actually, that they partially don't
Yeah.
exist is the bit. They only half
No,
exist.
that's not the bit. What? You first of all, Axe, you shouldn't say that's not the bit. You don't know what bits are.
No, I'm just saying though is like in truth they only half exist because half of them are because half of the people think our boomers are actually just people that have never touched the game stopped existing since 2004.
That is a Yugi boomer though. That's what it means. You're an old school Yu-Gi-Oh player and you never got past the Duel Monsters era. There are people who the
And you
reason why
suck.
GOAT format exists is people legitimately think Cyber Dragon ruined the game forever.
No, yeah, because they have brain damage.
Like, I'm not gonna say GOAT can't be interesting, but you have to honor rules
I
GOAT to
will.
make it interesting.
I'll say that.
I mean, you're allowed to, but people, it's like
Well,
Dallas.
format
Whenever I say Magic is an expensive card game, you go, whoa, no. Standard's not
No.
expensive.
I just
No,
think a lot of
the-
other cards are way more expensive.
Every
in
GOAT
comparison.
player will qualify when you tell them, yeah, but there's only like one deck that works. They're like, whoa, you just don't play those decks. You can play other decks.
Well, Omega, okay. To be fair to that comment, that's a bit different because the format that's actually expensive in Magic, only like 5 Saudi princes and their friends play. Because you literally need thousands of dollars for a deck.
And there's also no way to play it digitally, so you can't falsify
Exactly.
it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, Legacy format sucks. This is not a controversial. Also, it's over in turn 0, so there's no point. That's the worst part. It's over in like the fastest amount of time.
Is it really opening? Is it really just buy if you're opening?
Yes,
hand,
you
it's
can
good to-
literally kill someone before they get to act.
Now, the main thing that confuses the shit out of me is why is Anoyatilis water? I guess because the ice dragons got involved.
Because we
Yeah.
needed a wall. Yes, no, it is Trishula as well.
Well,
Trishula-
all the ice dragon stuff got because
Well,
if
it's
you look at
it's
Void Travel,
Necros of Trishula.
they got summoned.
Yeah,
I mean, no, you can also see the other guys.
yeah.
Guys,
Alright.
I'm literally looking at the fucking Yu-Gi-Oh fandom wiki for Master Guide 5. Don't you fight me on shit.
I'm not fighting you on anything.
No. Not fun.
Yes, you are.
I
Do you need me to pull up the card
Well,
art for
yeah,
Void
fine.
Trap Hole?
the only thing I no. Also, it's Void Purification. This card's in.
No, it's Void Trap Hole.
Well, and Void Purification.
I don't think that's the card you think it is.
Yeah,
Oh, no. No. Purification is way after.
yeah, but it shows Anoyatelis getting fucked.
All right. Anyway, I'm gonna mute Dallas for all Yu-Gi-Oh lore comments. 'Cause that's not relevant right now. Anyway, she's an icy ghost lady now. But because it's so very clearly Devyati, it's very funny because, as we discussed earlier, in Infernoids are all fire. So Anoia Tillis is a level 9 Fiend Fusion Water, 2700 attack, 2k defense. Should also water. Must first be fusion summon. Neither player can special summon monsters from the hand or graveyard using spell trap effects. If this card is sent to the graveyard, it's better. So yeah, Anoia Tillis is good. It's arguably better than Winda against certain decks because it straight up blocks your opponent from doing certain things, like ritual summoning or fusion summoning.
Yeah, Anoia Tillis is, as weird as it sounds, an extra deck monster that belongs in the side deck.
Yes.
I feel like.
It also would prevent your opponent from using rank up magics, but inherent specials it doesn't do anything against. So.
No, yeah, she's very good in some matchups and then absolutely useless in others.
Like Necros and rank ups, etc.
Yeah.
I mean, you can out towers a lot of ways. It's just called have a monster that's over 3k attack that's not special summoned because Cleese will fucking suck your life points, and I hate their guts.
Yeah.
Everything about Cleese is insufferable.
I like their art.
Okay,
That's about
fair.
it.
That's
That's all I'm
gonna
gonna go.
to be insufferable because I've never seen them actually work. So
Axe. I mean, I've been telling you this for literal months. Open up your EDO Pro. Play the AI Klee deck. It is
okay.
The Klee cards that are good are insufferable. It's Dimensional Barrier, Skill Drain. Actual Sacrifice is like a really annoying card to deal with.
Okay, let me go.
I'll also say
this.
this. This is completely
just
anecdotal
not fun.
experience, but Klee was definitely the Master Duel Gate I had no problems with.
What was
I
it,
one-shotted every match.
They also had the special. You came out special summon card.
Oh yeah,
It's
they
just-
ran one copy of or actually I think they ran 3 copies of Vanity's Emptiness.
In fucking Master Duel, it was okay. How do I win this duel? Oh, I just summon towers. Okay,
Yeah.
I win,
Nope. That is pretty easy.
and then rinse repeat 14 times. Or
Can
however
I
many
make
it was.
towers right now? I win.
Yep.
No, Klee was the easiest one for me. Aside from maybe from Shiranui, but I think that was mostly just because I know that deck back to front, so it was easier.
Loth, you're not going to
Alright.
get any traction with your jokes if you're typing in Discord chat to Dallas, even if you add him.
No, I saw it. I just didn't respond because it didn't deserve it.
I think one of the,
See what I mean, Loth? You're not going to get any traction.
Yeah.
If you're going to type,
Fair.
at least shitpost in the YouTube chat, so they can get
Although
it.
the Eye of the Icebox Ghost was kind of funny.
Ah, why you got to be slaying me with the Russian badge of gifts? Shit, this doing numbers. Ah. Badger, why do you only make a video like once every 6 months?
Because he edits, he could probably how much editing goes into it.
Well, it's true. The most recent video he did was his CSGO video that was like 40 or 50 minutes long, and he compressed like a week's worth of footage into that video.
I will
Yeah.
pretend I know who these people are.
I mean, I've definitely linked a Russian Badger video.
I just don't
Yeah,
watch
please.
a lot of gaming YouTube. Like, it's just not my style of content.
I've noticed, Dallas.
I'm already maxed.
I watch your guys' content. It's because there's more than one of you.
Mhm.
I just don't watch it live because you guys stream at the worst hours. For me personally.
Yeah. So.
All right. But so, this is the point where once all their attributes were complete, once they got all their 6 Infinity Stones,
Once
we
they
left
formed
Shadal's.
Captain Planet,
Yeah, we left Shadal's alone for a while.
that was a mistake.
Konami didn't really do anything with them, other than let them, be basically full power. Until the Link era, because
Construct was similarly to Stratos. Construct may have been banned for a little bit longer than it needed to be.
yes, but even so, guys, you may have noticed we've been talking up those Shadal extra deck monsters. They're important. They do stuff. Often, you want more than one of them because they do a wambo cambo. This means that you get a Link monster. You get an archetype Link too.
It's
Shadal Construct.
Right
I will
there.
say, considering that your extra deck is already packed, God, the Link arrows on Construct suck. for actual like Master Rule 4 Link summoning, because it's left and right arrows. So you have to make a Link 1, then make Construct to actually get extra zones.
Wow.
So, yeah. But, so Shaddoll Construct, not El Shaddoll Construct, makes it a lot more obvious that, Big Girl Construct is supposed to be, Lapis. I'm also pretty sure that she's sticking out of the forehead of Decatron. You just can't see right now. But I'm pretty sure that's
Probably.
Decatron's dumb, stupid head with his vacuum tubes. You'll see
Could
later when we
be.
get to Infernoids. I think I said Infernoids that time. That's
Inferno-
definitely
Infernoids.
Oh,
Hey, I mean,
yeah.
listen, Konami's done dumber mashups. Why isn't there an Infernoid Infernity crossover? Aren't they all fiends?
Yeah.
One's fire,
Except for
one's
Void
dark.
Ogre.
Hold on. Is there an Infernoid deck?
So,
I need to look at
I don't
this.
think that would work, but
I mean, it might
You
work because
Axum, and you
Infernoids are
underestimate
milling.
the power of jank.
Yeah.
And
Fair.
Infernity
I don't
is
think it
like
would- I don't
to be
think it
milled.
would work.
Right.
I don't think it would be smooth in any form.
Other
But-
than like actually 3 card Infernities are all Fane. Well, actually
Okay.
4 cards.
I was thinking
I
like
didn't
attribute-wise.
find an Infernoid deck, but I did find an Infernity Burning Abyss Punk deck.
Of course, those make sense.
I can kind of see that where you recur, you don't need cards
Okay,
in
let me rephrase
hand.
that. Infernity Punk deck. There's one BA card, and it's Cherubini, so that doesn't
And
count.
why
It's dumb.
just not call it Infernity Punk? Because that actually makes sense because they're both, it's a synchro deck you can go into other things with and so on and so on. But so just to ask about for Shaddoll Construct here.
Yeah.
Is this meant to be like the base form of it, or is it more just when they got microized? When they got implemented into the tube?
I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be, like I said, Construct is Lapis, so this would be Lapis's basically lost original body, and then for some reason, Construct was just spat out by Core huge. Because, like, Infernoids are big, they're not this big. Like, Decatron is
Yeah,
not
no.
so big that he could fit Core in his
Yeah.
forehead.
Well,
I actually
Construct is
double
like
checked. It's actually Shet. Who
it's weird.
Yeah,
Construct
Core
is
was in.
uniquely
Okay.
big.
Construct was in.
Yeah.
Which is a very. I don't like that name all that much. It's very.
Jet. Or possibly is Jetty?
Yeah, I think they were avoiding the biblical devil names.
Well, yes,
Yeah,
because
no,
the Infernoids are named after classic medieval demons, which is
Yeah.
another like you
Yeah.
you don't get away with that without a T
No,
for T
the
reading.
Infernoids. I mean, I at least understand the Infernoid more than I do like Nephilim or Midrash, especially Midrash, because who the fuck knows that term? If you're not like literally a Sunday school person,
Who knows? But yeah, I mean,
but
art
I
wise,
can
I
at
don't think
least
there's a lot.
understand why you wouldn't necessarily want to think of your children's card game names like, oh, what's this card's name? Satan.
Yeah.
Lucifer.
Honestly, considering the Dark Lord, that's fine. Because like,
No,
honestly,
because none of the Dark Lords are really named after more
Yeah,
than
they're
serious
using
ones.
Aztec names and name.
I mean, Superbia.
No one's gonna know that Techniclon is technically they're not gonna know that's like a dark underworld.
I mean, no,
god.
Superbia you don't know about unless you went to seminary school, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only one you've
like, a
got a
lot of
line on
these
is
are-
Dark Lord Asmodeus, but also Mozart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Asmodeus isn't one of the like. As much as it's used in like D&D and stuff, it's not actually one of the
yeah,
big
he's one of the
ones.
later ones. That's,
It's not like
that's-
Belial or Mephistopheles.
Anyway, so Construct, I don't think there's much else to say about the art. It's El Shaddoll Construct, but small. Small now.
It's the
Yep.
small
It is a
one.
light fairy link. It's got 1200 attack. It's a link 2. It requires 2 flip monsters. Like I said, it's got left and right arrows. So it's pretty annoying. Its effect is okay. During your main phase, you can fusion summon a Shaddoll fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material. So this is basically gives you another in-archetype way to make
Yeah.
Construct, and also gives you another fusion spell.
I mean, honestly, this card is way better in our limited format than
Yeah.
it is in Real Boy Yu-Gi-Oh! I
If
think.
this card is in your graveyard, you can send a Shaddoll card from your hand or face up field to the graveyard. So you can send to do things to special summon it back. You can only use each effect once per turn. So yeah, it's got its own interesting recursion and trigger effects. I think that the arrows are kind of clunky because remember you can only use each effect once per turn. So there's a lot of weirdness there. I had a brief thought because it just says 2 flip monsters about trying to figure out some way to make this funny in whatchamacallit, Subterror, but the only card I could make without vastly drifting that deck is Check, and that doesn't work because Check requires you to pitch Shaddolls.
Yeah.
So it's
No.
funny, but it's not relevant.
Shaddolls are a weirdly flip archetype that has worked, in my experience, with exactly one other flip archetype. And that is Tendangles. And it's just because they're all darks.
Yeah.
Literally, yes.
And kind of work from grave a bit.
Well, yeah.
Some of them also work from Grave Setup.
Well, a lot of flip archetypes work from grave. It's kind of weird, actually.
This boy, you've got to be in Master Duel, right? Yes. Because you came out in the OCG way before the TCG. So now we're going to talk about our last block of Shaddol support. So a very, very, very recent thing. It started with the new structure deck for Shaddol, which is what, 2020? 2019?
Yeah.
Yeah, fairly recent. And through promos and stuff has been slowly creeping up. These extra Shaddolls which have different attributes in deck. And we're going to kind of do them all in a blob. So we'll do App Cologne at the end, even though App Cologne was fairly early on in this cycle, actually.
Yeah.
But our first one, and I won't bring up an alt art because you know who this guy is Hell Shaddol Hollow. Karen Gorgon is still here, and he's still bad.
This is the one that nomenclature-wise makes the least sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I get what they're going for. It's just Hell Shaddol, like hell as in upon void is his original name. So.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the weird thing about it is, and there's just because they've been taking from most of the Hebrew, like interpretations of it. Hell is just not a word or thing in that. So that's just why I was like.
Yeah, I think they just decided to go for the pun, especially because it's void. That means it's related to Infernoids. So yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is a fire guy. He's also, by the way, fucking huge. This is a level 9 fire fiend. He's 29/29. Lots of 9s in here. Flip. Target a face-up monster your opponent controls. Send a Shaddol monster with the same attribute from your extra deck to the graveyard. If you do, banish that monster. If this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can send cards to the top of your deck to the graveyard equal to the number of different original attributes among the monsters on the field. You can only use you can only use one Hell Shaddol Hollow effect per turn and only once that turn. I will say this, I think he is niche. The unfortunate thing about his extra deck fishing effect is, while it is just a banish, it is a target, but it is not a destruction. It's just, banish. The problem is when you send from your extra deck from the same attribute, you don't get that guy back. They have to be fusion summoned first, so that guy is lost unless you, Pot of Avarice or something. Which is a little annoying. I still think it's got reasonable play. It's probably just that in hybrid decks, it's a lot easier just to run some other card that sends from the extra deck and just run a couple Entis. If you need to, pitch from extra deck to pop. It's a very common tactic. But, I mean, in terms of giving you a big asshole who's funny to summon off, Falco, sure.
Yeah.
This dude's 29/29. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, that's big.
Actually, is this your biggest dude? Construct is
Might be.
28. I know Attilas is 27.
I
I
think.
don't remember what App Cologne is off the top of my
No,
head.
yeah, he's the
Check is
biggest dude.
3K.
Well, Check is
Check's
3K
3K
butt.
defense.
Oh,
Yeah, no, those are your largest attack points. But
Yeah. Obviously, that doesn't usually matter to Shaddolls, but
Yeah.
it is
oh, yeah,
interesting.
It's 29, yeah.
Being 29 both ways, he's okay.
No, the big problem with this is just getting him on the field is a bit
Yeah.
Yeah.
like he's a bit of a brick in your hand.
Yes, in your hand, he's hard to get out. And
Like-
I think the main thing is the reason why he's not more useful is because Grista is very situational.
Yeah.
Like, if you had a better fire target, he'd be easier to get loose, but he's not, so. And now we have another slightly weird choice. But hey, did you ever? I mean, it makes sense because we'll bring up Apcolon later. But hey, did you ever wonder what happened to Gishki Ariel? Guess she died. Oops.
Yeah.
This is Nail Shadal Ariel.
Which is an interesting name. 'Cause
I feel like she never left the.
it means
It-
gift from God, which is interesting.
I mean, I think
That's
for
literally it.
yeah, for Ariel, it's kind of because I don't think she ever really gets quote unquote utilized by the Shadals very well.
I think it's because she was in the tree before the corruption hit hard enough for her to be spat out. So I feel like she just got collected once the tree was destroyed or ripped open.
Possibly, this is all way after they were producing master guides and they'd moved on to like talking about like world legacy shit by then.
It's just
So
she's in an Infernoid tube, so and then just Shadal.
well,
hands
they
and
all were
turn-
in those tubes.
Yeah.
Like they explicitly said the souls got trapped in the vacuum tubes in the tree, and then they were spat out by the core. But yeah, there's definitely like you can see the creepy Shadal lines reaching into the tube. So in case you can't tell, this is Gishki Ariel. I'm debating whether or not I even really need to bring up. Yeah, I don't even think we need to bother because it is just Gishki Ariel in the
She
tube.
is the second. I would argue she's the second best main deck Shadal monster, personally.
Oh, she is. I'm just saying, like, she is really good, but I'm just saying that, like, I don't think we need to bring up the extra art to compare because it's just Ariel not in a tube. This is a psychic water. By the way, as we said, these extra elemental Shadals have different attributes for one, different types for once as well. Types finally make sense in Shadals. She is a level 4 flip. She's 1,000 attack, 1,800 defense. Which, by the way, Gishki Ariel was also a flip monster who had these same stat lines. Flip, target a banished Shadal monster, special summon it face down or face up defense position. And then, if this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, target up to 3 cards in the graveyards, banish them. You can only use each effect once. Only use an effect once per turn, and only once that turn. So, but yeah, if you pitch her, that's, I guess, kind of a baby soul release. It's halfway between like a DD Crow and a soul release. Very useful in this day and age. And her actual flip effect, if you can set it up, isn't bad either because being banished is kind of a place your Shadals don't want to be. So this lets you get them back. The main important thing, you can tell this card was made in, in the TCG anyway, Shadal Showdown was early 2020. You can tell this is a 2020 card because it says up to 3 cards in the graveyards, banish them. So you're not, like, stuck because, oops, you don't have 3 cards in graveyard. Well, yeah, Zed, all of these characters are dead before the Shadals.
Yes,
the
no, that is the requirement. You have to have
Yeah.
been dead.
Because
Yeah.
they're
And
they
only
are,
some of them come back.
it is the people who are already dead from the previous 2 waves of warfare that can be spat up to become Shadals. Okay. But this one is funny. Talking about another card we're going to spoil, and I will pull up the extra art for this one because I don't think you'll get it directly otherwise. But our next card is, actually, I don't really know how we pronounce the. It might just be Shadal, or it might be like Shadal.
No, it's Nef. It's Nef Shadal.
Okay, there's a
Because
little
it's
in there. Okay.
it's Nef-ish. It's based on the same word for Nefesh.
Oh yeah, they just dropped the ph at all. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's Nech. This is Neshadal Genius, which
Yeah, the
is
fuck
based on a. I mean, it's obviously the Squamata armor, but also it is linked to Cleafort Genius,
Yeah.
Yes.
which is a very art-wise a very weird one.
I really love this art personally.
Which
It's-
one, Genius or Genius? Haha.
Yes.
Fair.
Ah, right.
This has a very like cursed, forbidden magic vibe. To me.
Yes, so Neshadal Genius is very obviously like it's the Squamata Onuklahai armor, but also, like, definitely has the vibes of Cleafort Genius, who also has the same name. Also, it's an Earth machine. But yeah, this is an interesting art. It's like, we're in a really interesting state, because, like, Neshodol Genius here, like, looks really, like, broken down. Like we said, like, we're really on our last
Well,
legs.
so is Cleafort Genius.
Well, yeah, Cleafort Genius is, I think it's Scout Crashed? Honestly, from this angle, it could be any number of Cleaforts. Like, it could be, like, towers busted up or something. I don't fucking know. But yeah, like, we're really on our last legs, and again, because this is all, like, way later. Like, this card was imported in Ghost from the Past in, like, 2021. It came out in, like, a promo later. Yeah, you can say Shaddoll Showdown. So we don't really know what this is meant to represent, but, you know, that is not dead which can eternal lie, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Dis be a Earth Machine flip. Level 4, 1800 attack, 1k defense, so the opposite of Aerial. Flip, target a Shaddoll monster you control. That face-up monster is unaffected by monster effects this turn except its own. Pretty spiced.
I guess this is what remains of the corruption after everything in the end.
Okay, so now I know why. It's this is just showing this is pretty much Cleafort Genius is pretty much just shows the core of every Cleafort.
Ah, okay.
And the shadow that's coming out is pretty much the power of Tiara that was inside of every one of them.
Ah, makes sense. Because that was also in Shaddolls.
The lingering power of destruction.
And there's some star stuff in there. I actually think that there's a better explanation for why it's Neshodol in the actual trivia, saying it's a portmanteau of Nehushtan, don't maybe to pronounce that correctly, which is apparently in the name of a bronze serpent erected by the prophet Moses. Considering how snaky he is,
that makes sense.
that works.
I'm always like used to like the Shutan.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's some interesting stuff going on here. Its graveyard effect is, if it's sent to the graveyard target effect monster, neither player can activate that target's effects on the field this turn. So this is a pretty flexible card that's pretty good. On a flip, you can protect your own Shaddolls, you know, Forbidden Chalice style type stuff. Not Chalice Lance, but for monster effects. And its send to graveyard effect is you can make it so your opponent can't activate a card's effects on field, which can be very useful for certain things. So Genius is a good boy, and Earths are okay.
Yeah, just kind of they're okay. Genius is generally not run. I would say it's one of the two main deckers of this that aren't run technically, which is Genius and Hollow. Just because, once again, Mathematician kind of fulfills the Earth role, and we still run it.
I mean, that's true. If you don't need the Earth slot, I would still probably want to think about like side decking it, because preventing your opponent from activating a certain monster's effects can be very useful in your doing things these days. Because
I mean, in a limited format, it's definitely better, but just because of the monsters,
I mean, I'm gonna be real. If we're still playing Shaddoll when Ghost from the Past comes out, I don't know how we're doing.
Yeah, no. When does the first wave of the guys come out? Because I'm gonna try those, because they're worth.
Ariel and Apcolone are the structure deck, so that's
when does Wendy come out? Is Wendy also in there?
When is Wendy?
Because Wendy is the one I care about.
I'll check out Shaddoll Wendy. That's not our next one though. We've got. Yes, that is the structure deck as well.
Yeah,
and
no,
then
that one I care very much.
No. Shaddolls out of the structure deck are good. It was the unbanning of Construct and then the introduction of the structure deck that I think really brought Shaddoll invokes Dogmatica back to the front.
Well, not Dogmatica yet, but
it was part of the process because that was the same year. Like Dogmatica would have been 3 or 4 months later. But yeah, that was the apex. And again, because the OCG releases before the TCG, people already knew going into when
They knew
Dogmatica
it
was
was
released
coming.
that Shit All Invoked was Dogmatica was good. So people got on that shit right away. The OCG is not a universal tell to the TCG meta, but for big archetypes like that or combos, you can usually see, like, everybody knows that Sprite and Tear Lament are going to be good. Like, how good? We don't know for sure. But the TCG would
Spoilers.
be better than the current OCG because we haven't banned Frog yet, so...
Yeah, no, I'm fairly sure it's going to be as dominant in this meta as it was in the...
I will say I do not know quite how good Tear Lament will be right out the gate because, as we said, the...
Oh, no,
Shizu-
Tear Lament, well, I'm saying Sprite.
Yeah, Sprite will be
Sprite
good.
will kill the meta.
Well, I mean, again, like I said, Sprite doesn't need to be that good. Sprite just needs to be able to turbo Frog, which they can. Because Frog is legal. Return Totally Awesome to jail.
No,
Yeah.
I do agree with MBT's little word cutscene he put on his Sprite video. And
Yeah.
hey, we're here to fix your meta.
Yeah. I think Sprite is going to be a big return to 0 point for the meta. Obviously, I think Tear Laments will be good, and hey, I need to, when I put in my order for Power of the Elements, I'm going to be hunting for Tear Laments, but they are not going to be relevant in the same way that they're relevant in the OCG because a lot of them use a lot of the Ishizu Exchange of Spirit cards that we're not getting until, like, holiday season this year.
No, to put it bluntly, the only decks that will survive this meta cleanse, at least if they actually do the same thing and limit the adventure package. God, please ban Griffin. Please. But the only decks that are going to survive are Flunder and Sword Soul. Everything else dies.
Yeah, Sword Soul turned out to be, probably because a lot of people thought Vanilla Sword Soul was very dull, Sword Soul turned out to be a fairly resilient archetype.
Well, Sword Soul, I would argue, Sword Soul, once it gets its stuff, is very fun. It's just... God, its initial wave is boring.
Hey, so, remember how I said this guy was like 4 monsters before? Well, now he's at least 5, probably 6.
Yeah, God,
Wait,
it's Kirkion again!
Yeah, this is, I mean, I know it's not, but I want to say quad? But it's quad shit all chaos.
I think it's COD, technically.
Yes, it's the Robanji is Kado Shadoru. So yeah, it should
I'm
probably
pretty sure
be
it's
COD.
COD.
But I'm just seeing with the QA, I just want to say, qua? Anyway.
Yo, rich homie Quan, what?
Yeah, again, art-wise, this is just, I'm pretty sure this is Kirkion inside the core being
Kirkion
gooped.
again. This is Kirkion's BDSM phase.
Now, I will say, this is a decent card because this is a main deck light Shadal. He's also a spellcaster. Has the same stats as Zephyr Naga 900, 100, level 2. Because, Zephyr Naga was not good for your deck.
Yeah, but Skyscraper, okay, to point it out, his last, Skystriker is still topping because it was a mistake to unban Engage.
Yes. Sky Striker has come back because we let Engage come back. I assume the TCG did that because they thought they were going to ship the new support a lot sooner. That is also not until holiday this year.
Oh, well,
so
I'll say this,
unfortunately, I think they're not going to reban Engage for a long time.
Skystriker with Imperial Order, when Imperial Order was still legal, Skystriker with Engage wasn't doing shit.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't know how I feel about that trade, because, I mean, you should...
Oh, I
you
agree
should
with
get
it.
rid
If
of
that
mine.
was what
You
we
should get rid of
had
mine.
to trade, I don't think we should have traded anything. Just ban them both.
Yeah,
But
but
if that's what we had to trade, it was worth it.
Because, God, Imperial Order, Io is such a block. But yeah, Chaos here is Kirkion again. Flip effect, you can special summon a shit all monster from your hand in face down or face up defense position. That's decent. Gets you more summons. You want those. If this card is sent by a card effect, send a shit all monster from your hand to the graveyard. Which is decent. They don't have a way to do that. So good way to fish out guys that are in your hand that you want to activate their send effects, and you don't have like a fusion handy or something. And then if you do, for the rest of this turn, all monsters you control gain attack and defense equal to the original level of the sent monster times 100. You can only use one effect per turn, only once that turn. So, I mean, I think Kios... Yeah, it's Kiyosu, so Kios. I think he's okay just for the purpose of being a light guy, and as we've discussed, Shadalls don't necessarily have the biggest stat line, by the way. On
No, he is definitely one of those, like, you can run him at 1 or 2.
Yeah.
You could try him out. He's not bad, he's just definitely not a...
No.
Like Ariel and a little lady we'll be mentioning too.
Yeah,
He's not a, like...
I think
Wow,
he's got an
words out.
interesting... He's got an interesting place in the deck because the stuff he does is stuff that other Shadal cards don't do. Like, he has attack modulation, and he lets you interact with your hand. Obviously, you play fusion cards, so usually you can trigger Shadalls in your hand by fusing them. But if you don't want to do that, or can't because, say, you're sitting on a Wendy, Chaos gives you a way to, like, get effect procs in your hand. It's not
have tried
necessary.
Chaos and it is worked. It also gives you access to some pretty unique lines. Like I used it to make rank 2 in one of my Shadal decks with Falco.
Yeah.
There's some interesting stuff.
And fun fact, he is also one of the boys in the Structure deck.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's just Genius and Hollow that weren't in that batch.
Yes. Hey, the two more useless ones. That works out fine.
Yeah. But it's interesting how these cards, by the way, are assembled from, like, all over the place in the lore. So, Chaos is obviously when Kirkian is being eaten by the darkness in Cairngorm, right?
Yeah.
And Hell Shadal, I'm pretty sure, is after Brista gets murdered, he, like, decides to be like, no, I'm too angry to die, actually. But our next card is clearly, I think, from the way she looks, and also from other card art.
This card is so weird.
This is clearly after we unfucked everything, because this is
reincarnated.
Shadal Wendy.
Yes.
I guess it means reincarnate. So
I assume that's what they're going for.
Shadal Wendy.
He looks really cool.
Well, so this was after basically Zephyra. This was
there's
not Shadal Wendy.
I don't remember.
This isn't Shadal Wendy because Shadal Wendy turned into Zephyr Wendy's.
Yes.
So this was after they Voltron into Zephyrath.
Yes, I don't remember what the card is called, but I do believe we see this design for Wendy in that card where everybody's, like, reunited, like Old Man Calm is reunited with his buddy Falco and shit like that. I think you can see a Wendy who is alive in this costume there.
Well, no, this is also just the Zephyr Wendy costume. This is just Zephyr Wendy's.
But yeah, like this, but she doesn't have the normal Zephyr wings. She has weird nature wings. But yeah, like this is
beautiful butterfly.
This is like, hey, guess what?
I'm gonna.
It turned out okay for everybody. They came back.
I'm gonna headcanon it as her body got too used to wings, so after she gave up her Zephyr powers, her nature magic was just like, I'm gonna make wings again.
Or as the man, the myth, the legend, Hardleg would say, but she came back.
Yeah, nope, they did.
Re-Wendy here is pretty goo. This is a Wind Psychic Flip. Level 3, 1500 attack, 1k defense. Flip.
I'll make...
Special summon a Shadal from your deck, face up or face down, except Wendy.
Yeah, this is really good. This is just broken.
If this card is sent to your graveyard from your card effect, do the same shit. Oh, it's only face down, but still, it's special summon from your deck.
Yeah, but you know what you could just do with this, and is a frequent play? Wendy into Falco into Hulk into Auroradon into Borlo Savage Dragon.
Yeah.
Suck
No,
my dick.
she just, as we've discussed, Falco being a tuner in the Link era gives you access to, weird bullshit Hulk lines. And
Hulk is a card.
Yeah. I mean, like we've said, I think in real man's Yu-Gi-Oh, now that we've limit Hulk to 1 and we've banned Auroradon and Link
if we kill Auroradon, even in our limited format, I think Hulk's fine. We just need to kill Auroradon.
Which, by the way, I'm perfectly okay with. I've talked about this. I'm a Mecha Phantom Beast player. What was it? It was MBT's latest Masochist Bandless tournament where literally every deck ran a Halcdon line, and I'm just like, I'm tired of seeing this. And like, I know how it gets you to. I know how it gets you to the line, but like, the important part is you summon a Auroradon, make tokens. And
but if you make Hulk, like honestly, like there's some stuff you can do, like with Hulk, and I'm fine with Hulk being unbanned because it gives some of my decks access to some fun stuff. But you can't really do like instant Savage Dragon stuff.
No. The funniest stuff I think I ever did with a Hulk and a non-Hulkdon line was in my Master Duel Admancipator deck, because some of those guys are tuners, obviously, because they're synchro. I had Hulk, and I could go into Coral Dragon with him, which meant that sometimes you could draw cards.
Generally, what I do is I do Hulk into I make a Sync 8 and then a Hulk. And then on my opponent's turn, I go into Formula Synchron into Satellite Warrior. That's generally what I do with Hulk.
Yeah, and Formula Synchron lets you do some of those funny things. But yeah, so
Wendy's
I'll pull up
great.
Zephyr Wendy really quick so you can see. Yeah, it's she's clearly the same person as that one. Her hair looks like she looks like she's getting a little more sun. She's got a little more color in her hair. And she, like I said, she has new energy wings, but she's basically the same person.
Yeah, but no, this is like I said, this is the most powerful Shaddoll card in my opinion.
Well, I mean, it thrusts Shaddoll violently into the modern era of Yu-Gi-Oh! It gives you 2 ways to special from deck, which is good. Spoilers.
Yes.
There's a lot of cards that are banned just because they say special from deck.
And it makes sense that this is the one that pushes them forward because it's the Shaddoll card at the very end of this saga, technically.
Yeah. Well, you can make some argument for whatchamacallit, Hollow.
Yeah, wow, like Hollow and Genius.
But...
Like I feel like Konami's trying to tell us a story with these cards. Like obviously with Wendy, there's a positive outcome, but with Genius and Hollow, there's also like I feel like Konami's kind of being like maybe the evil hasn't been defeated yet.
Yeah, no, that I mean I don't get that much with Hollow, but I definitely feel like that with Genius. Is
it's just just looking at
Genius is definitely the broken scraps of whatever the fuck is left of Klees and Shadolls.
Turn to this one along with Hollow. I think one other one appeared in another future like Inferno card, the Void Apocalypse.
Yeah, Void Apocalypse is the ending of the story, anyway.
Yeah. And here is our new fusion monster, El Shaddoll Apkalone.
She's kind of meh, I'm not gonna lie.
It's Evil Fish Lady.
Yes, this
both
is,
in art and in effect, she's just kind of meh.
Well, hey, talking about art, hey, it's Mind August.
Yeah, it's just Mind August.
She literally has the same level and stat line too, but I'll pull up the art so you can compare them side by side. But this is another one of those very, what's the word I'm looking for? Unambitious Shaddollifications. Because, it's just, hey, Apkalone's a robot fish now.
Yeah.
And I think Ariel has slightly bigger tits. It's hard to tell.
You freaky fish guy.
By the way, uncensored in the TCG, probably because it's so tiny normally.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just there's some weird fish shit, and I do think there's an interesting cue that she's wielding the Aqua Mirror again, and it is projecting the Shaddoll lines, but blue. Like that's an interesting
thought. Is the Shaddoll goo a thing from the Evil Swarm world?
Yeah, and it could be. You'll also notice that the eyes are blue, not purple, and it has the Aqua Mirror symbol in this. So, like, there's definitely something slightly different going on here, but...
The world may never know, mostly because we still have to deal with this Splite bullshit.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on.
I
But-
think it's honestly partially just a weird. There is no timeline after a certain point, so this just feels like a thing of
There
like,
is no spoon.
oh right,
Well,
guess
you
you
are
would've been a
correct.
thing,
Yes,
yeah.
there's no timeline in a sense that I mean, this was created at the same time as Ariel, so they're just being like, "Yo, Ariel," and
they're
then
just they're
Acolyte.
backporting stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think like we said, like Wendy is very clearly set after some other spell trap support that came out at the end of the cycle, but
Oh, yeah.
it's that weird issue of how do you do legacy support for archetypes that thematically
Had
are
a
complete.
story.
Like you did this whole sweeping story for dual terminal, and you kept carrying it forward into the main sets, not just the dual terminal hidden arsenal sets. What do you do, right? Like it's like World Legacy. World Legacy is complete, and honestly, a lot of those archetypes don't necessarily need legacy support because a lot of them were fucking stupid and busted. But
I think some
like,
of them might,
if
like,
you
I think
wanted
Guard
to,
Dragon?
if you wanted to like,
No, Guard Dragon does not need support
No,
acts.
I meant as in if you're gonna have to, because they don't have any. They only have one link technically now.
Yeah,
well, that's
They can have
what
a,
we
like-
mean.
they
But
can-
the problem
they can have
with
one that
that
actually
is you
fits-
can't
they
give
can have
them
one that
more.
fits the gameplay.
You can't give them more links because that just makes Dragon Link come back.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
no, fuck Guard Dragons.
I think the
I
better
mean, I
the
was
better
thinking
example
about making
is.
one that was like only Guard Dragon monsters you could use for it.
I mean, I
and-
think a better example is Nightmare. Like, what are those
Fair.
guys like? What do those guys do? But also, hey, all the Nightmares who aren't banned go in like every extra deck ever. So why would Konami print more of them? It's
Yeah.
it's that weird
No,
part where like the World Legacy cards are really good. Some of them so
I feel
good
like
that they're
the-
banned. Like,
I
how
feel
do
like
you do
the
legacy
only archetype in it that you could argue maybe support for is World Legacy, like the World Chalice stuff.
Yeah, the oldest stuff is that's very early very early Link era stuff, and like I think really only works in the context of MR4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
'cause
I
I
mean,
guess
I
they don't-
think you could still make a decent deck with them. Like,
'Cause I guess they
just
don't
need
need
like
more-
Try.
honestly, like if you were to give them support, I would just suggest giving them a payoff more than anything.
I guess
is
let's
what
see.
they
Mech
need.
Knight won't need any help. Orcus doesn't need anything.
Yeah, no. If you
Most
want
of
if
the
you want to
decks
make
that
Orcus
still-
relevant again, just unban some of their cards that are banned.
Look, they tried to make
Proper
World
one.
Chalice legacy support, and then it got fucking banned.
It's true. They made Super Ib, and ooh, nope. That's
Because it
not
turns
okay.
out that, like, why is she? Isn't she just a searcher? What else she does?
Do you want me to pull up Ib Justicar? Because I mean we're at the end.
I've never actually seen what the fuck she does besides. search
Well, let me
lots of cards.
read what App Cologne does really quick, and then we'll sideboard on that. So App Cologne is another Dark Spellcaster 6, 2500 2K, 2 shuttle monsters with different attributes, which is decent, I guess. Must first be fusion summoned. I feel like App Cologne, by the way, with her level and like being a Dark Spellcaster, is also meant to kind of be like a Winda parallel, because she can't be destroyed by battle, which isn't as good, unfortunately. And you can only use each of these effects once per turn. If this card is special summoned, target a face-up card on the field, negate its effect. If this card is sent to the graveyard, add a shuttle card from your deck to your graveyard to your hand, then discard one card. It's okay. I think the main thing is the fact that it can negate back row, like continuous spells, like certain floodgates. That's okay if you can actually do that.
Honestly, the biggest plus to App Cologne is it's a way outside of Wendigo to dump your Windies. That's the biggest plus for App Cologne. So that's why it's run at usually 1. It lets you dump Windy.
Yeah, because you can add and discard. The other thing I think is it's just a good one of because of its fusion requirements. Like it's just 2 different attributes.
Yeah.
So it gives you a new thing to do. It's not good, but again, I don't think the extra deck for Shadal needed support. They just needed to unban
No.
Construct was the thing. That was it.
No, the area Shadal always needed was first of all they needed an in archetype normal summon, which they got. But yeah, no, I think Shadal is actually a fairly balanced archetype, especially now.
Well, and then obviously the fact that like a lot of similar like Invoked gave you the access to the fusions but different attributes shit, which synchronizes really well, obviously. And as you brought up earlier, Dogmatica has a similar extra deck hate to some of the Shadals. So there's a lot of like interesting parallels you can work with, and even future shit that goes into that. Hey, extra deck hate will always be popular as an anti-meta choice.
Yeah, like Construct is still good.
Interesting. I didn't realize. I mean, I kind of see why. In Japanese, Ib's name is Eve, so like Eve,
Yeah.
they're spelled with IV. So I understand
With
why they made
knowing
it
the
Ib.
World Legacy story, that makes very, very a lot of sense.
Yes, but also I see why we didn't do that way. I guess that means Avram is Adam also. I can
Yeah.
see that one.
Probably.
That's
Then
That one,
then
honestly,
then
that
who
makes
is-
less sense.
Why? Then who is what's Ningirsu?
Well, honestly, they only need the Eve parallel for the Snake parallel, realistically.
Right, because Lee would be the snake.
Lee, yeah.
I think Ningirsu is
Long
just
Ningirsu.
Ningirsu is the
Ningirsu.
tree, clearly.
Okay, because yeah.
No, there's a wasn't there like a
wait.
third guy in the Garden of Eden
Well,
that nobody knows about?
no, Ningirsu is also Ninurta, the Lord of Girsu. It's a Mesopotamian god associated with
No.
certain things.
Actually, I have a question for you guys. Have we finished Dual Terminal now?
No,
God, no. Well, we have stuff to
we
do.
still got Klee and
Klee,
Right.
Infernoid.
Pre
have,
4 nights and then
maybe
Sophia.
one
Yeah.
more.
Klee and Infernoid. I think that
that's
might be
it.
it finally. Like we're just doing all the villains.
yeah, we're just doing the villains.
And then I guess after that we
yeah.
then do start World Legacy.
Yeah, we could start on World Legacy if we want to keep our main stuff
Oh
going.
boy,
No,
All right, I
clearly
should check
how
the
it goes
Patreon
is
poll.
Avram is Adam. Ib is Eve, and Ningirsu is fucking Lilith.
Oh, apparently
That's how
Abraham
that
was
goes.
just called like Evramu.
yeah, no,
Yeah, it
Abraham
might
isn't
be.
Adam.
Yeah, it's not actually, but that's the thought I had. Technically,
I
by the way,
think-
we probably should have done the Patreon poll one today, but I feel like we returned to form. You guys didn't mind. I will check
What's
what
then
the
next
poll
week? Oh yeah, what was
I
the
believe
poll
it was locked in as I think a Magical Muskets won for sure, but it's
Oh
been
right,
like
yeah.
2 weeks
Everyone
since
calling,
I looked. So
calling everyone cowards worked.
apparently, you guys shouldn't allow yourselves to be bullied by Axe. But I mean,
Hey,
it's
yeah.
close. It
I
was
took-
literally one
You're
vote.
all fucking bottoms.
Omega, I took that tactic from you.
If you're getting bullied by Axe, you're a bottom.
But
I don't know,
it
people
was
can like
it
this
was
stuff.
it was very tight. DDD almost won at 8, but Magical Musket snuck it away at 9. So yes, that would be. We'll probably do that one next week just to catch up. Sorry about the lost weeks, but a lot of stuff's been going on. But
People have been
anyway,
busy.
yeah, I had a very busy month. But
Oh.
to iterate what the problem with Ib the World Chalice Justicar, which I mean the Eve thing, I understand why. The literal names in Japanese are way more anime and silly. It's literally Eve the Star Chalice Miko.
That's not that. I
God, that
I mean,
is
that's
the
their idea of
I
At
mean,
least
I
I've
will say
ever
this:
heard.
they're taking Star Chalice literally. The word in Romanji is Seihai. It's
Oh, it
Holy
literally is
Grail.
Holy Grail.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
the World Chalice is the Holy Grail. In case that wasn't
That
clear.
might as
That's
well just
not,
be called
honestly,
the
that kind of
Ibudo
ruins it
Kawaii
because I liked it
Desu.
more when it is like
Oh,
the World
fuck
Chalice
is
as in
that?
Well,
Right
I mean, I will say this: I think the World X artifacts are like all different kinds of like ancient artifacts. So, like, I wouldn't let the fact that it's called Seihai it different. Like, yeah, it's still Star Chalice and basically Holy Grail, but like, there's a lot of other shit going on. It's not quite the same.
Yeah, because I
But
feel
so,
like being called the World Chalice is interesting, whereas like it's a like time capsule device.
So, Ib the World Chalice Justicar is a water synchro tuner, level 5. She has 1800 attack, 2100 defense. She's completely generic. For this card, Synchro Summon, you can treat a World Chalice normal monster you control as a tuner. You can use each of the effects of Ib once per turn. If this card is Synchro Summoned, add a World Legacy from your deck to your hand. If the Synchro Summon card is sent from the field to the graveyard, add a special summon a World Chalice monster from your deck or graveyard, except Ib. World Chalice Justicar.
Okay.
She can't loop herself.
Okay,
So
you
she-
put a package in, you can abuse that easily. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
She
it's-
searches. She adds a World Legacy on summon, and when
Yeah.
she goes away, when she's sent from the field to the graveyard, i.e., if she's linked away, she specials another World Chalice. Like, so she's a free link climb.
Apparently, she was used in pretty much Dragon Link.
Yeah, because
Yep.
like I said, if you link her away, I'm also pretty sure. Doesn't Hulk say this is treated as a synchro summon?
Also, remember, guard dragons are world chalice too sometimes.
Yeah,
It's true.
yeah. Like World Legacy Guard Dragon is their
Yeah,
guild,
Yes.
or
and
just
that
regular
gives you
stuff?
access to shit like Pisty, LP, Agripane, who are all banned. Like, it's just, like we said, a lot of the World Legacy cards are fucking stupid.
No. Fisty's not bad.
Right,
Fisty's
no,
fine.
well, I said a lot of them are banned, but the 3 Guard Dragon links are actually there's
Agripane is possibly the
Oh,
most broken
yeah,
link monster to ever be printed, in my opinion.
Eager pain and...
But we will probably, after doing our last couple in this momentous series, we will probably move on to World Legacy. I know some people are like, yo, do Abyss. I can't do Abyss. They keep making new Dogmaticas.
Yeah, no, we're not
not
doing
even
it.
over.
The problem
wait,
is the
we'll do
story's
it when
not
it's over.
over. Yeah.
It's
They will-
reaching its second to last, its penultimate or its final arc.
I think so. The problem is that the problem with the Abyss storyline is it's all over the place. Like, sprites are technically in that lineup. Like, sprites and Therions are fighting in the gold saucer while a Boober of Doober is eating Albaz and they're making a new dragon archetype. I don't fucking
basically
know.
put it. Okay, so to explain this, for what I've seen of actual lore books that they release sometimes.
It's true.
Basically, it's been one throw storyline, but with one side storyline involving the Therions and the sprites.
Yeah.
That's the one side storyline because that's meant to be the Deus Machina of how heroes are gonna win in the end.
Meanwhile,
But yeah.
God, I love this fucking event.
What, the No Extra Festival?
No, the summer.
Oh, the FGO event. Out of context.
Yeah,
but
there's
I need to
I
go
was
finish
just so
Dark
far
Vision.
behind.
I really am, but it's just this event is
Unreal.
written for me.
yeah.
I know
Exactly.
that, Mr. I made that comment about being horror movies. Anyway, we're here. We're doing
Yeah.
the thing.
Yes.
We did
It is almost
things.
midnight. We have wrapped up shit all. I hope you've enjoyed.
Yes. And I would like test
do
games.
you want to show them the tune fucking Gristar I found?
Oh no, I showed them earlier. I did that comparison.
Yeah, he did.
God, that fucking art is cursed.
Sorry, took a little yawn there. But yeah, I think in that case, then we're gonna probably wrap up for this. Like I said, next week we'll be here for Magical Musket. I hope you guys are ready, one, to hear my country voice, because we're gonna be very cowboy. And two, I hope you're ready for references to
Free
Frischwitz.
shooter. Because that
Wait.
I didn't actually watch that play, but I heard it's
What?
actually a decent
Wait,
play.
what are we doing?
Magical Muskets, Dumbus.
That's
Oh.
yeah.
It's-
Wild West
Oh,
plus
I've-
the free shooter.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I've
But
actually
also
been
laser,
playing
but also
magical-
laser Gatling guns.
I've actually been playing Magical Muskets as my deck at the Master Duel Festival.
Yes, that's right. I don't think that's said on air. We did. You talked about that in testing after.
I
finished
made
the
a
Master
Magical
Duel stream.
Musket Amazement. It's hilarious.
That
That
sounds
sounds
kind of
gross.
fitting.
But yes, we're gonna
This
pop
sounds like
off
a
now.
lockdown.
We might actually go do some blurb blurb blurb.
I gotta test.
No.
I gotta play my deck a bit just so I'm not rusty for tomorrow.
All right, Axe, put up your dukes then.
All right, let me go.
So thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time for more Fail Portrayal. Stay tuned for more prog. Seriously, the episodes are good. Go back and watch last week's. It's cool. Stuff happens.
Yeah.
More stuff will continue
Yeah.
to happen. I promise you.
Stuff
I know the 5D era is rough, but please continue on from
You
that.
can also just skip episodes because there's a lot of them. You could just skip ahead.
Well,
There's
yeah,
a
I know.
lot.
If you're behind and you don't give a shit about a format, skip it. That's okay. I do that all the time too.
Unless it's the episode I finally won.
Like Omega starts listing
tournament.
deck lists, so if there's not a deck list you want to see, you can just skip ahead.
You
That's
can just skip most of
actually,
the DM
honestly,
era.
that's good. Marth does the time codes every week, so you can just jump to the deck lists and see if anybody's doing anything fun. And if you don't care, like the funny thing about the edit. Sorry to delay the outro, but it's not quite midnight. But the funny thing about the edit is you guys get dramatic irony. You get to see the bullshit that we have to deal with that we don't know before we go into it. The only
It's
thing
a big
that's known
reveal.
when we start is the brackets, but
Like,
you
it's
guys
a-
get to see the deck list.
Like it's a big reveal when people show their deck list and being like the tech that doesn't actually get to happen.
Yeah,
So it's like-
there's a lot of funny stuff. But all right, I hope you've enjoyed being Cyber Dragon Napster. Thank you so much, everybody. Please watch Prague.
All right, yeah, that was the thing.
Good night and good
Wait,
luck.
you're
Don't
not
forget to
X.
like, comment, and subscribe. Patreon, memberships, all that fun stuff so I can continue to buy
Yeah, I'm not
Cardboard
Axe. You
Crack.
go fight him.
I think my couple of boxes of Legendary Duelist Season 3 are coming in. Hopefully I can score some hero bullshit or a Magician's Souls or something. But I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, everybody. Everybody say goodbye.
Bye.
Okay, Marth, you should probably fight Loth.
Okay.
I'll try to fight
Either
Axe.
Marth or